Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Stock Market Live with LCAOD. We are starting extremely late today. We're gonna pull a little half day. We're gonna try to pull a little half day today. Some stuff going on here within the family, man. We got some birthdays and some other stuff going on, but we just chilling right now, man. Before we go any further, though, I do want to let you guys know that this is the Stock Market Live with Let Cash Accumulate Over Days. Today is May 25th, 2022. This is live coverage from the stock and crypto market. This is live ideas of thought and studies. This is not financial advice on this stream or with this company. So with all that being said, and it sums down to it, ain't nothing but to do it. Yeah, that's just it, man. That's it. So yeah. That's it right there for that. And we got that far, man. We do see the market did bounce up here today. The SPY did go up to 397. That was the high earlier this morning. We do see it starting to fade away now here, getting closer to the FOMC minutes. So we are on time for that today. But like I said, it's gonna be a short day today. We just keeping it short today. We just now started the live stream, you guys. So well, we just gonna keep it short and simple today, a little half day. And remember again, Friday, you guys, it might be another short day possibly, or LCAOD might not be live at all that Friday. So it just depends. It might be a short day like this for about 3 hours possibly, or it just be no LCAOD live on Friday, you guys. So keep that in mind. I'll remind you guys that tomorrow as well. Tomorrow we should be on time, on point. Everything should be fine. But it looks like the daggone Brainard said some stuff here this morning. We're gonna quote it and pick up and see what she said. We do still got earnings after the bell. Three things you want to know still. Fed minutes coming up here shortly, 2 p.m. Fed minutes is at 2 p.m. You guys, it's going to move the market. As soon as it's like a pre-recorded statement or pre-recorded, like already, like something that the market already knows. Well, smart money already knows. Institutions they already know. So it'll move the market there a little bit, and then it'll end up going back to whatever it wants to do. Whatever the Fed minutes is stating here, the investors gonna have to let it digest. So that is at 2 p.m. You guys, 2 p.m. that comes out. I don't know if Powell will even be live. He was supposed to be live yesterday, you guys. I apologize for telling you that he wasn't live. I think he had a private briefing and where they just quoted him and he wasn't live. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be live today after the FOMC minutes. He usually do at 2:30 after the FOMC minutes or statement, but I don't know if he's going to do that today. You feel me? I just know that the statement is the minutes, FOMC minutes are about to release at 2 p.m. and it's going to move the market just very, very, very swift. It's going to move the market real quick, and then it'll form out to what it want to do, the direction it wants to end up being. But so far today, man, like I said, the spot did bounce up to 397. And really had opportunity from the morning to get in on it, and get out by the end of the day there. But I'm not, excuse me, by the end of the day, but by 11 there, by Euro close, excuse me, by Euro close, you could have got out, but it just depends on the investor if you took that route or not. Yeah, man, looks like Ethereum is still below 2,000, so it looks like everything is still bearish overall. At these levels, this is where it can come out. The bull can get out of the woods at these levels if it wanted to, but would have to really do it and stuff like that. So yeah, Bitcoin's still below 30,000, so crypto world is still a little hurt here right now. Still a little discount going on in the crypto world as well. Man, yeah, man, that's just what it is here today. Like I said, we got a lot of earnings here between after hours and tomorrow morning, you guys. So tomorrow will be another big day. We got a lot of retail names reporting their earnings here. We got Dollar General and we got Dollar Tree. They all report tomorrow morning. So it's going to be very important. We got NVIDIA after hours today. That's going to be very, very important here. This is going to be another market mover. They were part of the Metaverse. And since we already right here, we might as well go over what it means, what metaverse means. So these stocks right here are part of the metaverse. Since we are just now getting started, we'll go ahead and get into this. And you know what? Since we already getting started, it's 1:15 p.m. Just to get it out the way, we're gonna go ahead and get into the LCLD word of the day. So we're gonna pick that, and that's randomly chosen, you guys, by just earth and spirits and air. So if the word of the day is the same, it doesn't matter. I don't care. The word of the day is the word of the day. It's randomly chosen. So if that's what the word of the day needs to be reminded, so you can so it can help you out as an investor, then that's just the word of the day. I don't care if it's been the same. I'm not willingly. I'm not picking these. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really picking it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not picking the word of the day. It's randomly chosen, you guys, on the live stream. I'm literally skimming through the same book and just randomly the first word I see with my finger on, it's there. That's the word of the day. That's it. That's it means something to me doing it like that. And since I've been doing it like that, you guys, I'm not superstitious or anything, but since I've been doing it like that, it's really been helping LCAOD, just to follow the word of the day and really obey it and abide by it and just really do it, and then it ends up helping you in the long run, you know what I'm saying, week to week. So since I've been doing it randomly, it's like I said, it's been helping. It's really been helping you guys. Yesterday, the word of the day was greed, and I had a play in front of me. I wanted to hold it for more profit, but I didn't let the greed get to me, and I took the profit, and I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, I would be tremendously wiped out right now, just because of the greed, you guys. So that's a prime example of the LCLD word of the day. It does work, I mean, it's randomly chosen. Um, Eye in the sky don't lie, so. Like I said, though, we're gonna get into that after we explain this. But this metaverse right here, these are the metaverse stocks, and apparently these early adopters, these companies early adopted the metaverse. You guys, they put a lot of money into it early on here. They really believe in it, so they put a lot into it early on. A lot of smart money put a lot into it early on. I mean, they're investors. They do want to change the world and stuff like that. So they did put a lot into it early on. About 1 trillion. It's a 1 trillion opportunity too as well. And you got some of your early adopters above, and then some of your late adopters below. But at the end of the day, they all have invested into the metaverse. They put some type of equity into the metaverse for the future, for it to be successful, or they wanted to change the world. They wanted to change the world. They want the metaverse to be heroic. But right now, I don't know about that metaverse situation. Right now, it's not looking too good. At first, everyone was excited about it, and then more and more did your research into it and got into it, and people stopped kind of liking it. And then all these companies that early adopters that put into the metaverse, their share price really has been going down since then. So keep that in mind. This is Roblox. This is Spotify, Nike, Facebook, aka Metaverse itself. Facebook changed its name to Metaverse, so aka Metaverse. So they're all in with the early adopting on it. But like I said, all these names really had got clapped. Nvidia, what's that? I think that's AMD. You know what I'm saying? So Microsoft, Tenet, Walmart, Procter and Gamble, Disney. These are your late adopters, and above, like I said, these are your early adopters. Samsung. And like I said, the metaverse is that virtual reality world. A lot of celebrities are getting into that. Like I said, it could be the future. It could be. Smart money is putting it there. They're putting their money into the metaverse early. Some of these companies, like I said, Roblox, Facebook itself, Nvidia, Microsoft. So it could be good. It could be good for the future, but it could be hurting them now. You see what I'm saying? So we'll see. Like I said, Nvidia, they report after hours, so we'll see if the metaverse is helping their equity or hurting their equity. We're gonna find that out after the bell. But that's just basically the metaverse explained, you guys. Like I said, if you don't know what metaverse is, look it up, Google it. It's really just a virtual reality world where they're trying to get everybody on it, and eventually, it might transform. The whole entire world might be using metaverse. We might be using metaverse for everything: debit cards, credit cards, gas station. You just never know. Strip clubs. We might be using metaverse for everything. They're already kind of doing that stuff now, but it's like all in like video game mode. But like I'm saying, like it might become a reality here soon. if they keep putting that much money towards it. So keep that in mind. $1 trillion is a lot, you guys. That's a lot of money. But yeah, man, that's that. And let's go ahead and do the LCAOD word of the day. And when we're done with that, we are going to look around and see if we can find some briefings or something that might be moving this market today. You know, we don't really know too much today. We did start the live stream late, but we have really just been paying attention to the charts and numbers. Again, as I said, it's a lot going on outside of the market this week. LCAOD, you know, it's extremely busy. Today is someone's birthday, very important to me. Happy birthday. Love you. Without you, wouldn't be here. Want to give you that shout out. But other than that, though, it is some more stuff LCOD got to handle towards on Friday. And, like I said, it'll either be a half day like this, or this a 3-hour day from 1 to 4, or I probably just won't even be able to start the live stream with LCOD on Friday, you guys. So just keep that in mind. I'll let you know more details about that tomorrow, and all my clients, I'll send that out in the chat and let you guys know if I'm going to be able to go live for at least 3 hours or not at all on Friday. So keep that in mind. But right now, let's go ahead and get into the LCAOD word of the day. I don't see anything happening here. Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We got a lot of briefings, a lot of stuff moving the market here today. Okay, so the Johnny Depp situation is still going on. That has nothing to do with the market. We're not even going to tune into that today, unless we have some free time after we watch everything we need to watch. I highly doubt it. We're already starting late, so we probably won't get to the Johnny Depp situation today. If you're at home, you have to watch that on your own time because, as I said, that doesn't have anything to do with the market. That's just between them personally. But we do see a briefing live from Virginia. They're talking about baby formula is arriving in Virginia. That's good. I see another briefing live right now. It says senators are discussing the Texas school shooting. That's good. They need to talk about that. They need to figure that out. You know. And then you got, I see something else here that might be possible. World Economic Forum panel on refuse treatment. So those three things I just read, that is definitely moving the market. We'll tune into one of those here shortly while we sit here and wait for the LCOD word of the day. And we wait for the Fed minutes. So the Fed minutes is going to come out at 2 p.m. I will have another, I'll have another mentor. I have another analyst. I'll pull it up and I'll let him read it out because usually he gets the minutes faster than anyone else. It's really not about who gets it the fastest. The minutes are going to come out. Everybody's going to get it. It's going to be released to the public, but he does get it first. He does have some type of app where he gets it the fastest. So I'll just pull his up and let him skim through it, read through it. Just try to be cautious when that happens because you don't really want to take his first word as he's skimming through it. So the market is going to be doing a lot of moving at 2 p.m., you guys. You'll see that needle jump probably on the spot to 396 like nothing happened, or it'll just fall down to probably 392 like nothing happened. Then you'll see a lot of consolidation, and then it'll start to go back up and down, and then it'll break out into a range where it wants to go. So just keep that in mind. At 2 p.m., the Fed minutes will be released. It's gonna draw in some huge candles during that moment. So just kind of just be ready for it. If you've never done it before, if you've never heard of this before, it's probably best to just watch. Because like I said, it can teach you a lot, man. It can teach you a lot. If you can get the right side during this Fed minutes, you a beast. But just know it's gonna take about 30 minutes or 45 minutes for you to decide, even if that's even the right side. If that makes sense. So sometimes it might even be best to wait towards the end of the day to really confirm whatever they're about to pull at 2 p.m. is going to be accurate. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. There is about to be a huge move at 2 p.m. The Fed minutes will be released, and it's really, like I said, it's a pre-recorded, like a politician thing. Like they already done had meetings about the Fed minutes, and it's already out, but it's just not out to the public yet. Us investors, the mom and pop investors, you and I, the brother and sisters investors, you and I, it's not out yet. So when they release it at 2 p.m., we'll know what update the market is trying to give us, and investors will go from there. So you'll see a lot of volatility during that moment, right at 2 p.m. Right at 2 p.m., you guys approaching the Fed minutes will release, you guys. So be ready. I just want to explain that to you. And that's why we're live. We're live to catch that moment. Like I said, we did just start the live about 25 minutes ago. Yeah, just basically kind of running on a short day, a little 3 hour day today. Like I said, a lot of stuff going on, man. We got birthdays, graduations, all type of stuff. I'm handling business. I have to go pick some more business merch up. It's a bunch of stuff going on, you guys. So we just got a 3 hour recording today, you guys. And like I said, Friday might be the same way as today. Just 3 hours or none at all. So just keep that in mind. This is where we're gonna go with it. That's the way we're gonna go about it. But word of the day is the word of today, ladies and gentlemen, is round of applause. Drum roll, please. Suspicious. Adjective. Something false that appears to be true, deceptively attractive. Suspicious, you guys. Specious. Suspicious. Something false that appears to be true. Something false that appears to be true. I can relate it to the market. I can relate that to reality. I can relate it to the market. I can relate it to reality. Related to the market is basically, I'm going to just put it just straight up. It's straight up like this. The Fed minutes. It's suspicious, you guys. It's something that is something false. It's going to be something false that appears to be true, you know. The Fed minutes, when they get that needle moving at 2 p.m., you guys, it's going to seem like that's false, but it's going to appear to be true. So you need to be very cautious, be very calm, and understand what's going to happen. Take your ego out of it, take your feelings out of it, and just know that it may appear, to be true, but it might be false. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, the Fed minutes, it might rally. The SPY might pick up. It might be super bullish. It might take it back to 397. But will it hold? Will it hold like that till tomorrow? You see what I'm saying? That could be the false breakout as we've been seeing. And then the truth will come out tomorrow. If the market sells off below all of these numbers you see today, that's the truth. Or vice versa, opposite. If the opposite happened, say if the market go down today, boom, it might be false. It might not stay down. It might bounce up again tomorrow, So that's the word of the day here. Suspicious, you guys. Suspicious. And relating it to just the reality, we can relate it to that. We can go on and on all day. I'm gonna just give you one example. That I don't like to sing preaching, singing to the choir. I don't like to talk to the walls here. So we just give you one example of each reality and market. Relating it to the market, relating it to reality, relating it to reality here. Suspicious. I mean, just people act like that all the time. When you think about it, some people just act weird, act suspicious. They they seem they seem something. They just seem something false about them, but they appear to be true. They want to be true, but you can tell like when you get around certain people, they might be false. They might be false. They might be acting a little weird, or or something that you always thought happened, but it wouldn't have happened. That's suspicion. That's suspicion. That's being suspicious, you guys. Actually, I just had this example with my old lady last night. She was talking about she thought Morgan Freeman had already passed, and I told her that was the suspicion. Because a lot of people thought that, but he's still here making movies. Morgan Freeman's still good. So that's another example of that's something false that appears to be true. So just keep that in mind, you guys. That's just what suspicion is, man. Have your suspicion about what's about to happen next for real, because like I said, it's either going to as false breakers out here, or it's going to false break below here, and then tomorrow we'll really get the truth. The Fed minutes, like I said, that I've it's been a while, but it's been a while since I've seen the Fed minutes actually go a direction, and then the following day they follow up with that same way. It's usually how the Fed's minutes been going, you guys. They go one direction, the next day it's the opposite. So they got a lot of suspicion with them. They got a lot of suspicion with them doing that. So a lot of investors, smart money, ain't really buying into none of these little events no more because they've just been getting clapped for 7 to 8 weeks doing this crap. So people are really getting tired of that. So some people are getting smart and just letting that ride out, not even doing anything on this type of day. Unless it was this morning, they could have got in before all this is even about to happen here in 30 minutes, the Fed minutes. But yeah, man. So people just got their suspicion. Long story short, people got their suspicion about certain stuff here that the market has been doing, and everybody's being really yellow light cautious about stuff. Because this market, like I said, can easily crash at any moment it wants to. It feels like it's hanging on by a thread, but it also feels like we're at the bottom and it's about to just rocket out of nowhere. So we're at that point in the market, you guys. We're at that point in the life right now for like investors. Like people really don't know which way this market is gonna go. Some people think that we're almost in a bear market. Some people think we are in a bear market still. So it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it. It really is. But that is the LCLD word of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Suspicious. Something false that appears to be true. That is the word of the day. You make sure you remember that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move on and get into some briefings that we had saw earlier. Hopefully they're still going live and we can get caught up and see what's happening here. Let's check around about the futures here, the indices here. Let's see where they're at currently. Then we can go from there as well. It looks like Abbott Formula Plant had unsanitary conditions. FDA chief says in scathing testimony. So that ain't good. It don't sound like that's Abbott formula. Me and a client was looking at who provides the baby formula last week or 2 weeks ago, and we found out that it was Abbott. But we found out also Abbott had some bad reviews and unsanitary conditions about their formula and stuff like that. I think it was a child, a baby that passed away using Abbott's formula. So FDA chief says um, they had unsanitary conditions. So that's an FDA chief. That's your stuff won't even be approved if the FDA don't approve it. So if the FDA chief said it's unsanitary, Abbott's probably about to go bankrupt or they're about to lose a lot of money because they got a lot of bad stuff going on with them right now, and we are in a kind of a formula shortage. But I think the U.S. is fixing that problem as we speak right now. But the S&P 500 is little changed ahead of Federal Reserve update. That is the FOMC minutes. We're about to get the Federal Reserve update here in about 27 minutes. The Dow is in the red. We do got a mixed market today right now. I'm seeing that. The Dow's down 12%. The S&P 500 is only up 19%, not really much. The Nasdaq's only up 60%, not really much. I can see that flip. The Russell 2000 is only up 1%. That's the Russell 2000 though. That's like AMC, GME. They don't really, not hitting on that unless they rally. Those are meme stocks. People like to just see those rally. Those are meme names. You know what I mean? But what the freak? The VIX, though, you guys, is in the green, up at $29.46, only up about 3%, you guys. So the VIX ain't really hitting on that today either, or at least like right now. They're trying to chill out until probably the Federal Reserve update here shortly. But this is what it is right now, you guys. This is what it is right now. So we still see that here, like I said. Yeah. Yep. And then we got all the charts pulled up right here. This is the VIX right here on the chart. You got the SPY right here. I'm just looking at a regular stock right here. This is Amazon in the middle. And I'm looking at the triple Qs right here, you guys. So, yeah, man. Yeah. This is really what it is so far. But yeah, it looks like the market is definitely waiting on the Fed minutes. Everyone is. You might not see nobody really doing too much until that is released. Looks like we supposed to have the State Department. They're going to be doing another live briefing today. Here shortly at 2 p.m. around the time the Fed minutes release. It looks like they're still live about baby formula arriving in Virginia. And it looks like the senators are discussing the Texas school shooting. That's still live.
Oh, you're doing it wrong, man. What's wrong with action figures?
I do see now they got Ukraine's foreign minister. He's holding a press conference. We can listen to that since the war is still going on. That is important. We got it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot of briefings going on. We do see the Governor Greg about Abbott gives update on Texas, and a lot of stuff happening right there with that. Let's tune into this. This looked like this just started about 5 minutes ago, so we're gonna tune into this. This is very important. This is Governor Greg Abbott. He's holding a press conference with Texas officials to provide an update on Tuesday's deadly mass shooting at a Robb Elementary school in Texas. And let's tune in and see what he's gonna say about this.
Let me walk you through some of the facts of what has happened. There's been a lot of things that have been said. Some are correct, some are incorrect. Let me tell you the best information that we have at this time, understanding, very importantly, that this is an ongoing investigation, and ongoing investigations often reveal new information as those investigations progress. The first thing that happened was that the gunman shot his grandmother in the face. She then contacted police. The gunman fled, and as he was fleeing, he had an accident just outside of the elementary school, and he ran into the school. Officers with the Consolidated Independent School District, they approached the gunman and engaged with the gunman at that time. The gunman then entered a back door and went down 2 short hallways and then into a classroom on the left-hand side. The gunman entered into that classroom, and the classroom was connected internally to another classroom. Border Patrol, Consolidated ISD officers, police, sheriffs, and DPS officers converged on that classroom, and a Border Patrol officer killed the gunman. As I said, Texas Rangers are leading the investigation, joined by federal, state, and local law enforcement officials. At this time, we know that 19 children have lost their lives.
That's what that shit was. That shit crazy.
2 faculty members.
That's my thing. Like, I don't know. Like, the market green today.
Lost their lives.
That's crazy. The market crazy. How can you be green off of a mass
In addition to that, there are 17 people who are injured, but their injuries are not life-threatening. All family members of all of these students,
no fees or minimum,
have been contacted and informed about the circumstances. The officials are working with parents to ensure that their parents are going to be able to see their children. Parents should contact victim services.
All right, we got 6 briefings going on at one time. A couple of them haven't started yet. They're about to start. So just try to bear with me here. We're going to try to skim through all of them because they're all important here. They all are moving the market. And we want to make sure that we hear everything we need to hear to be profitable or know what's going on at all times in this market. So keep that in mind. Like I said, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 briefings going on at one time right now. He's live right now discussing this matter. The governor is live right now discussing the matter with the school situation. That's what we're live on right now. Governor Abbott gives update on Texas school mass. He's talking about that. And then it looks like the Daily Press, like I said, the Department of State Ned Price, he's going to be talking to us soon. That hasn't started yet. So what hasn't started, we'll put down here. And what's live right now, we'll move over here. So these 4 briefings are live right now, and then these 2 briefings down here aren't live yet. And it looks like this one is the FBI Director Christopher Wray testifies on FBI budget and Senate hearing. That's going to be important, you guys. It's going to move the market right there. It looks like there was a briefing this morning. Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on nominations of ATF Director, federal judges. So that briefing just ended. That briefing just ended like 40 minutes ago. It's a lot of data going on today, you guys. A lot of briefings today. Hasn't been in a long time. This is the most it's been in a while. FDA officials, baby formula company executives testify on nationwide shortage. That's moving the market a little bit.
Doctor.
That's definitely moving the market a lot right there. So yeah, all these things. It's a lot of briefings here, you guys. We'll just be skimming through all of them. We obviously can't watch them all at one time, so we're gonna be skimming through all of them to see which one might be the most important. I think they all are pretty important in their own different way. Definitely want to catch that one though. Dang, neutral experts testifying House hearing examining the infant formula shortage. That's going live. That's gonna be live here shortly. That's live in 17 minutes. So they added more briefings, you guys. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now. 8 now. 8 now. It's 8 briefings now. It was 6, now it's 8. This is a lot of news. I don't understand how they expect us to try to follow all this at one time. This is crazy. Like, why would they speak all at one day? They kill me when they do this. For real. Let's see. So I'm just trying to that link. Yes. So yeah, all this is important. It was just there, it moved away. I don't know. Type this in. Oh, here you go, right here. So it's coming up next on Fox. All right, so look at all these briefings we got here. These two haven't started yet. These 3 haven't started yet. This is live. They're talking about baby formula.
Use my social media and Howard.
Just trying to make sure we getting all. Okay, all these 3 not live. This is live. This is live. So many briefings at one time, man. This is live. It looks like it's loading.
3 words. Business lady.
It's an ad. That's live right now. He's still live. He's talking about the Texas. He's still live. He's talking about that. So we'll tune into him first, and then we'll just go down the line, you guys. We'll give everybody at least 5 minutes.
Created by the state.
He's already had 3 minutes, so I'll give him another 2 minutes.
Is available to assist. The Bluebonnet Children's Advocacy Center is available to provide services for children. The Texas Health and Human Services Commission is on site and will be available for ongoing provision of services. The Texas Education Agency is providing supplemental counseling services. The Texas Department of Public Safety Counseling is providing counseling services for law enforcement. And the FBI is also bringing in mental health services for law enforcement. It cannot be overemphasized the importance of law enforcement officers, all of them, seeking out and obtaining this mental health counseling. The District Attorney's Office for Victim Services has a phone number available for all victims, and candidly, the entire community, in a way, is a victim here. And I was provided their number to give out to you publicly. This is the number for the District Attorney's Office for Victim Services. The number is 830-278-2916. And at this time, I will pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
All right, so he's going to pass the mic, and we're going to pass to the next briefing here. Let's go to this one. We'll give him 5 minutes. This is the World Economic Forum here. Ukraine's foreign minister. Remember, we're still in a war with Russia, Ukraine. That situation's still going on. This is Ukraine's foreign minister. He's holding a press conference. We'll give him 3 minutes.
But we're facing a much bigger problem of forcible deportations of Ukrainian citizens into the territory of Russia. I do not know the number, how many Ukrainians were forcibly deported.
We'll actually give him 60 seconds here. He's got 40 seconds left.
I don't know where these people are. And what I could do, we made public statements saying that, guys, those of you who can hear us, read us online, hear us on television, if you are in Russia, but you want to go back to Ukraine, you cannot do it directly. But if you reach any embassy in the country neighboring Russia, be it Belarus, Georgia, for example, come to the embassy, identify yourself, and we will get you out. This is peanuts compared to the overall number, because I'm afraid the overall number of forcibly deported people will be in hundreds of thousands. But if I can save one family, one person, Ukrainian diplomacy will do that. And your first question was on what? It
was just about whether or not the agreement had.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on from him. Like this one's been on the ad the whole time.
Great collaboration, communities, and so on.
And this is World Economic Forum panel on refugee treatment. We'll give them 30 seconds.
To integrate as soon as possible when you arrive. For sure, you need housing to start, and after you need to find the community, and after a job could come. But you don't need to have 6-12 months. And again, my experience is it's too long. And to make a decision like it has been made for Ukraine, I think it's the first time we see that. It's something to put in the law now, to say it should be like that for any crisis, provided it is recognized as a crisis. So I would say that's the second one. Potentially the third one, I'm more optimistic about also young generation, because they are traveling more. So they know more what is difference. What I see, and especially in my industry where we are recruiting people, discrimination was something which was really in the middle of, I would say, the problem and the challenge of this industry.
We're going to move on to the next one, you guys. We're just going through really fast because, FRMC Minutes about to come out here in 10 minutes, and I do want you guys to see that live, and we'll be pulling up the analyst mentor, and he'll be getting it first, and we'll let him skim through it, and we'll skim through it as well.
In America, and that we're able to supply 1/3 of our production.
This is the senators. They're discussing the Texas school shooting
at the world
at the Capitol
with a growing shortage of food. As I emphasized, because of partly because of what's.
So yeah, when things like this happen, you guys, these senators, these politicians, they gotta meet up ASAP. That's their job. It's their duty to see what they gotta do to fix it.
Unfortunately, some recent decisions just made by this administration do just exactly the opposite. I said just made by this administration because 2 weeks ago, President Biden's Solicitor General filed a brief in a case involving widely used pesticides. In that brief, the Solicitor General flipped the government's long-held position that FIFRA preempts state law and instead argued against EPA's authority. So it looks to me like politics overcomes science. Now, you'd think such a significant change would be firmly based in law on science, just as I said.
All right, we're gonna move on from that one and see what's going on down here. We just skimming through. Like I said, we just started here about 50 minutes ago, so we just trying to get caught up just as well as you guys. Some of you might already be caught up here, been probably paying attention all day. I have no idea, but if not, if you just now tuning in, you're catching the recap. This is the Stock Market Live with LCALD. We are just now tuning in about 50 minutes ago, and we're just playing all these briefings here before the Fed minutes and seeing which one is really relating to the market.
For the future of our country, and
it looks like all of these are very important, but we're definitely just skimming through all of them because we can't watch them all at one time, obviously. And we're waiting for the minutes to come out here in 9 minutes, and we're about to have that pulled up. So I'm just skimming through everybody really fast. FDA officials, baby formula company executives testify on nationwide shortage. That's what this one's about. We'll give them 20 seconds.
And thank all of the panelists for being here as well. You know, Commissioner Calif, I'm a pharmacist, a healthcare professional, but even more importantly, I'm a father and a grandfather, and we have 6 grandchildren. They're all over the country, and Charlottesville, Virginia, New Orleans, Atlanta, and this hits home literally. I mean, my youngest granddaughter is 6 months old, and she's on infant formula. We have a family text chain that we send around, and my wife had sent a picture of the infant formula to everyone all across the country. If you see any of this, buy it. We need it.
Okay, so that's buffering. We're gonna move on from that one. We'll come back. We're gonna come back to all of these briefings, you guys. We're just skimming through them right now. Net price. Net price not live yet. They started soon. This one's starting soon, 7 minutes, and click on this one. This one's starting in 7 minutes. So we got 2 briefings starting in 7 minutes, right when the FOMC minutes release. So think about that. We're gonna go ahead and pull the who the mentor here I'm gonna have speak on it. Because like I said, he's gonna get the Fed minutes first. He's gonna get the release first. We're gonna pull him up. FOMC minutes are about to be released, you guys. Fed minutes is about to get released.
Connect Apple to your Shopify store to find new customers and keep existing ones coming.
You're about to see some crazy action in the market you've probably never seen before, especially if you're just now starting out to invest. You haven't seen this before. We're even going to zoom in, and we're going to make it candles on here on this chart so you guys can see the candles and how big they'll be and how much they'll be moving in about 7 minutes. This is the analyst. This is the mentor that's, he's going to have the minutes released. He's going to be skimming through, reading it first. So we're going to tune into his channel and see what the minutes is saying here. Because like I said, he's getting it right at 2 p.m. As soon as he refreshes his page, he's reading it. The minutes are out. And you'll see the market adjust as soon as the minutes get released. So let's tune into that and let's tune into this. This is very important, you guys. This is the biggest piece of news, economic data this week, you guys. The FOMC minutes, and tomorrow the GDP reading is important tomorrow too with the jobless claims, and we also got core PCE index data that's coming out on Friday, you guys. So a lot of data this week, but this is the start of it right here today with the minutes.
Your dad is tag is Van Man. It sounds familiar. Does he got a long term? You better get the long term too. Let's go. I say it's a family affair. We love it. We love it. Mm-mm. 6 p.m. Email corealestate@gmail.com, and we will even go over it tonight or after hours. We'll talk about it. Let's even see where we end up right now. Anyone else think Powell rally? 5 minutes left. Oh my gosh. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Are you ready? Everybody warmed up? Did you stretch a little bit? Again, we've already went over the expectations. The first 2 hours here, pretty much from the release till close, and then there's going to be a reaction afterwards. It usually, on average, it ends up negative, but understand, and we are very liable to move pretty big in the first 30, 40 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Twitter meeting over. Zuckerberg says Reels is a top priority for the company. I need a poop. Should I hold it? Can you do it in less than 4 minutes? You got like 3 minutes, 45 seconds. I know I couldn't, so I probably, that's something I would postpone personally. So we'll see. We'll see. It really depends. It really depends. All this hype for a dud. A dud is in the cards. It really could be, but we will find out. TLT. I got those old TBTs, but we'll find out here. I mean, the bonds have been very, very weird, and I want to see that. But the real signal in the bonds is going to be from, like, the daily trends and what we could, like, string together and what it shows about everything. Oh, my gosh. 10:56. A dud would.
All right. So yeah, you see how intense the Fed minutes is, you guys. You see he's gearing up for it. He's ready for it. He know over there on his channel how serious it is, and we know how serious it is over here at LCAOD, man. It's very serious right here.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm the owner.
And you kind of heard what he said too. You want to really wait to probably before close to make your decision on what you think, because it's about to get very volatile here, you guys. It's going to be seesaw, and it's going to be doing a lot of moving as soon as the minutes get released, because the market, like I said, already knows. It's already pre-recorded, but us investors, the public, we don't know. That's the thing here. So it's going to be a lot of movement between 2 and close, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., and then tomorrow we'll really get the real direction.
So here was this. So this is just all the estimates of where people think federal funds are going to be. What else do we got? The details of potential sales of mortgage backs will be particularly interesting. Powell himself said on May 4th, MBS maturing will be less than the Fed's cap. So yeah, this is talking about any updates here with, what's it called? Any updates with the balance sheet reduction. Yeah, that chart is wild. There's a lot of lines. There's a lot of lines. Get ready. Financial conditions. There's a decent chance some big news on balance sheet reduction might happen. I'm reading just analyst comments right now. All right, let's see, man. Let's see. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. A minute in like 15 seconds. Oh, Bullard, I don't think we got enough time for it now. We should have done it earlier. Oh, man. Balance sheet reduction. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, but then a lot of people are looking for they've done more than talking about it, but now we're really going to see what's up here. So get ready, get your news scanners on wherever you get the news from. You're probably going to get a bunch of different headlines here. So let's see what happens. Wheat.
1 minute. Fed minutes about
Meta
to release.
CEO says no plans for dividend. 1 minute, 30 seconds left.
The market about to reset in 30
let's
seconds.
See what it does. Let's see what it does. Where's Apple? I'm going to get Apple up because Microsoft's been strong.
Where we headed?
High taker. Remember, it'll make a move, but pretty much by the first like 20, 30 minutes, we are going to get one level of move, and then just watch like every hour, pretty much from now till power hour. That will be one type of move. Fed official at the next couple meetings. Many saw Fed well positioned this year after Fed tightening. They noted more restrictive may become appropriate. That's kind of negative.
It's out. Statements out.
Let's see. For their minutes. All right, I could read through it now, but I'm going to wait till we get some of the headlines. We got the text. It's popping a little. I want to see most Fed officials back 50. I'm just going to go look that up real quick. Let's go to the bottom of the minutes and see who voted for what. Jerome Powell. Harker was an alternative. They all agreed. So there was no dissent. That was good. They said well positioned later this year. They noted restrictive policy may become appropriate. Again, same headlines. Balance sheet effective May 5th. Overnight repo.
He's just skimming through it to see if anything's different. You see the candles are coming in really big there. We got 2 green candles coming in so far. The market is reset. It looks like they want to push up.
Goes above the cap for mortgages. That's kind of important. We got more half percentage appropriate for next couple of meetings. Appropriate to consider sales of mortgage-backed securities. That's kind of bearish. It's not moving too much as yet. They expected rapid growth in Q2. They saw inflation risk skewed to the upside. Noted challenges of restoring price stability while keeping labor market strong. So key takeaways, they both saw half a point as appropriate. Jerome's comments, yet policymakers saw the potential for rates to go high enough to constrain economy. There were hints of a possible pause, and expedited tightening would leave the Fed well positioned. That's bullish. That is bullish. So right there, that phrase, they saw potential for rates to go high enough to constrain, but there were hints of a possible pause, and expedited tightening would leave the Fed well positioned. Robust discussion. Said higher prices hurting sales were a footnote at the meeting. Beyond the initial discussions by letting securities holdings mature, a number of officials eventually see selling the Fed's mortgage backs, a move that would be announced well in advance, would help return to normal. Several officials flagged vulnerabilities in the market for treasuries and commodities. A couple policymakers observed that trading and risk management practices are some key participants in commodities market, not fully visible to regulatory authorities, and would lead to significant liquidity demands for larger banks.
I rewrote my opening
So a number were in favor of selling mortgage-backed securities. They thought that they could be risks in the market as the Fed starts taking money out the system. The minutes show that Powell's decision to be looking to raise by half a point would reflect a strong committee consensus. It kind of seems pretty dovish for the most part. Again, I like it on the 50 basis points. Most participants judge 50 basis points in the target range would be likely appropriate at the next couple meetings. Many participants judge that the expediting the removal of policy accommodation would leave the committee well positioned later this year to assess the effects of policy firming and the extent to which the developments warranted adjustments. Yeah, that's
all right. So yeah, whatever. All right, so that's out. The Fed minutes is out, you guys. They'll be quoting that the rest of the day. You'll see headlines from it, like he was saying. He just got it first. He got the statement first. You can see he was reading and skimming through it. You can see it did show us 3 strong green candles at the start of it at 2 p.m., but now we've seen the first red candle. Excuse me, it looks like a green candle might be coming back in. We do see now that that's out. A lot of briefings have just now started, so we're going to tune into those. Ned Price just went live. We're going to tune in with him first.
Densely populated areas causing thousands of civilian deaths. We continue to see credible reports of violence of a different order. Unarmed civilians shot in the back. Individuals killed execution style with their hands bound. Bodies showing signs of torture. And horrific accounts of sexual violence against women and girls. The establishment of this multilateral accountability effort, therefore, comes at a critical time. The ACA will provide strategic advice and operational assistance to the War Crimes Unit of the OPG, the legally constituted authority responsible for prosecuting war crimes and other atrocities in Ukraine. The ACA will reinforce and help coordinate existing US, EU, and UK efforts to support justice and accountability for atrocity crimes. It will demonstrate our international solidarity with Ukraine as it seeks to hold Russia accountable. Although the United States and our partners are supporting a range of international efforts to pursue accountability for atrocities, the OPG will play a crucial role in ensuring that those responsible for war crimes and other atrocities are held accountable at the domestic level. The ACA is an essential element of the United States' commitment to seeing that those responsible for such crimes are held to account. With that, happy to take your questions. Sean.
Can I follow up on Ukraine?
Sure.
Ukraine has voiced unease. Russia said it's going to make it easier for people in parts of Ukraine that are under Russian control to obtain Russian citizenship. Does the United States have a view on that?
We certainly have a view on some of the horrific tactics that the Russian Federation has employed in parts of Ukraine, eastern Ukraine, where its forces are present. We have seen Russian forces forcibly remove individuals from occupied territory. We have seen Russia's forces transport Ukrainians to these so-called filtration camps. We have seen Russia's forces attempt through other ways to subjugate, otherwise subdue, the Ukrainian people.
Oh, they're probably moving the market, you guys. It looks like they're digesting the statement. The Fed ministers is being digested. It's starting to come down here. That's a big red candle on the triple Qs and the SPY. Amazon's starting to come down too.
To subjugate the people of Ukraine, to impose their will by force, that is something that we would forcefully reject. It is not entirely unlike Russia's attempts to manufacture these fake referenda that are designed to offer the veneer of legitimacy to Russian rule over parts of what is sovereign Ukrainian territory, referenda where Russian-backed officials tend to somehow accrue 90 plus 99% of the vote. It is a tactic that Russia's forces, the Russian Federation, have used in different contexts before, in Crimea in 2014, in Chechnya. More recently, our concerns that we've voiced with Russia's aggression against Ukraine in this phase, including in places like Kherson.
Shooting people in the back and things like this tied behind their hand. Is that a new thing, or is that the Bucha massacre? You're looking into old stuff or all lumped together?
The reference that the Secretary made in his statement today and the reference I made at the top, of course, includes Bucha. But we have seen reports of these types of summary executions in places well beyond Bucha. As the Secretary speaks to this, as he's talked about it, he has described a receding tide of brutality. And when Russia's forces leave a city, a town, a place like Bucha in the coming days, a place like Mariupol, what we have found in its wake are additional reports of these types of atrocities.
Okay, and the ACA, is it going to be something akin or parallel to the ICC, for instance? How will it conduct its work?
So what the ACA does is bring together multinational experts to provide strategic advice, operational assistance, and capacity building, including technical capacity building, in areas such as crime scene and forensic investigations, the drafting of indictments, the collection, preservation of evidence, operational analysis, the investigation of conflict-related violence, including sexual violence, in cooperation with international and national accountability mechanisms. It specifically includes two key elements. The first is an advisory group to the OPG, the Office of the Prosecutor General, made up of experienced war crimes prosecutors, investigators, and other specialists based in the region to provide expertise, mentoring, advice, and operational support to the OPG. And the second component is something known as MGTs, or Mobile Justice Teams, composed of both international and Ukrainian experts. These experts will be deployed at the request of the OPG to increase the capacity of the War Crimes Unit and regional prosecutors to assist the investigation on the ground. We've said this before, but the reason we are focusing, at least in the first instance, our efforts on the Office of the Prosecutor General and her War Crimes Unit is precisely because they have the capacity, they have the determination, and importantly, they have the jurisdiction to bring these cases to trial, including criminal prosecutions, one of which we have already seen result in a guilty plea. Simon.
Government officials who will be working in those mobile justice teams?
Right now, these are non-official American experts, individuals who bring expertise, knowledge, and know-how, as well as experience in all of these areas.
So those are civilians, but they will travel into Ukraine, sort of, despite the current warnings on.
As part of the mobile justice teams, there will be international experts who will be on the ground at the disposal of the Ukrainian Prosecutor General and her team, whose expertise then can be deployed as appropriate. Yes?
Hold on. Will the ACA be able to advise to investigate Putin?
The ACA is focused on war crimes and potential war crimes in Ukraine. So they will be looking at reports that may well entail much more than reports and could constitute evidence of war crimes. Now, of course, in the first instance, they are going to look to criminally prosecute those who are in Ukraine, as is the case now with the Russian soldier who has recently undergone trial. But we've made the point clear that under international humanitarian law, it's not only the individual that pulls the trigger or conducts the war crime on the ground, but it is anyone in the chain of command who was witting and part of a war crime. And so that's something that more broadly we will look to as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the top. I'm beginning to think there might be something of a conspiracy with no 2-minute warning, or at least I didn't hear it if there was one. So anyway, I apologize.
I will make the point, Matt, that everyone else was here on time.
Okay, well, I apologize for missing the very top. And I hope that you're prepared to answer this question. And I want to preface it by saying I am not suggesting that it is a waste of time or money to investigate war crimes allegations at all, wherever they take place, whether it's in Burma, whether it's in Iraq, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in the West Bank, whether it is in Ukraine or Syria. That's fine. But since the President Biden, first said that he believed war crimes were being committed by Russia in Ukraine, there have been, by my count, and correct me if I'm wrong, at least 3 different initiatives that the United States has either begun, launched, or taken part of to investigate war crimes in allegations in Ukraine. This latest one says in the joint statement, it says it seeks to streamline coordination and communications efforts to ensure best practices and, most critically, avoid duplication of efforts. Now, just a week ago, like 8 days ago, you guys announced that there was the creation with $6 million of this new conflict observatory, which is basically going to do the same thing as what this ACA thing is.
So you see the FOMC minutes effect here. I got it pulled up. It started at 2 p.m. You see the SPY went up, and then the SPY sold off, and then now the SPY's going up. So I told you, suspicious. It's a lot of false breakouts, a lot of weird stuff, inaccurate stuff, but it's trying to digest which way it really wants to go, you guys. So far, it's really just kind of credit spreading in the same area, but by towards the end of the day, you'll see it break out just a little bit, but I still probably wouldn't trust it. Like the homie said, to probably tomorrow, man. Tomorrow you'll really get your direction there. So if you can swing something, you'll be golden. Really playing in this turmoil right here is just it's too dangerous because there's a lot of volatility. Investors got got mixed emotions about this minutes that just got released. So it's going to be up and down here for quite a while until it really wants to break out. Keep that in mind. But like I said, tomorrow you will really see the separation from where we're at now, and tomorrow it'll be different, definitely, especially with all these earnings we got coming up too. So you'll definitely see a difference tomorrow with the minutes being in full effect. So just kind of stay calm, stay cautious. Like I said, the best opportunity right here is kind of probably to just swing trade, you guys, or just wait till tomorrow and try to day trade something early in the morning. That's probably the best two things you can do. Or the third thing is just literally wait. Don't do anything at all. Continue to watch this action and learn from it here. And listen to Ned Price right now. He's telling us some key things about the economy.
From this new mechanism. The observatory is a consortium working with, by the way, some of the same partners who are involved in this, but for a very different purpose. It is not to provide the sort of technical expertise, technical analysis.
I made 20% this week, so I need to just chill. I'll probably just do an earnings play. Lotto earnings, some shit.
Jurisdictions, but for the public, including to continue to shine a spotlight on what are clearly atrocities and apparent war crimes that are ongoing in Ukraine. This, as I alluded to a moment ago, is quite separate. There is, as I said, two elements to this. There is an advisory group that is made up of war crimes prosecutors, investigators, other specialists to provide expertise, mentoring, advice, operational support, the kind of tactical operational support that you're not going to see from the observatory. The writing of an indictment, for example, the forensics investigation. And then, of course, the observatory does a service by publishing open source information, but what the ACA does is it helps our Ukrainian partners actually collect that evidence, actually on the ground with mobile justice teams composed of international and Ukrainian experts to be deployed to augment the capacity of the Ukrainian prosecutor general. You are also right that we have funded various operational partners, again, some of whom have been recipients of that funding that we talked about, and who are involved in both the observatory and the ACA. So when we talk about deconfliction and the avoidance of duplication, that is absolutely a goal of the ACA. That's part of the reason why we're working with the UK and the EU, bringing to bear this technical expertise, this technical know-how, and this technical capacity, so that together with some of our closest partners, we can help direct it precisely where the Ukrainian prosecutor general and her team need.
Maybe we can get someone in here to explain to me exactly how these aren't duplicative, because I don't get it. I don't think your response has cleared it up. Maybe it has for others, but not for me. So perhaps we could have a conversation with someone who's actually, directly involved. So anyway, how much is this ACA going to cost?
This is something that we've just launched today. We don't have specific figures to release, but we're working with Congress to allocate additional assistance funds that will continue to support the important work that's being undertaken.
And then the last one on this is that you have a pretty senior, I don't know if this was at the top that I missed, but you have some senior officials who are in The Hague today, or finishing their trip today. Did you get into that?
We have not.
Oh, is that not part of this?
It is separate.
Well, they seem to talk about that.
Well, of course.
The statement about their visit says that they were talking about the European Democratic Resilience Initiative, EDRI, which is the same thing that you guys are drawing on for this ACA.
The visit is not linked to the launch precisely of the ACA.
All right. So does it have anything to do with more cooperation or increasing cooperation with the ICC and the visit?
The visit has to do, again, with our support for the announcement, the fact that we welcomed the announcement by the ICC Prosecutor General looking into the situation in Ukraine. Again, we have said that we are willing to assist the efforts of all of those mechanisms that have the potential to bring to justice, to hold accountable those who are responsible for war crimes in Ukraine. In the first instance, as I just said, at some length, we're focused on the Ukrainian Prosecutor General and her team. precisely because they have the determination, the know-how, and importantly, the jurisdiction to do just that, which they've already proven in at least one case. But there's the Moscow mechanism, there's a commission of inquiry through the Human Rights Council that we helped to establish, and there's the ICC, whose announcement we did welcome when it came about.
So just to put a fine point on it, they didn't go there to say, we're going to do more to help you. We're just going to continue what we've already been doing.
I don't have conversations to read out. Of course, the visit is ongoing, but we have said that we are prepared to work with the appropriate mechanisms in the pursuit of justice in Ukraine. Zero. Sure.
Will the ACA be involved in investigating war crimes elsewhere, or is it all distinctly about Ukraine?
This is focused on Ukraine.
Okay, thank you.
Zero.
First, as you know, the Taliban recent decision ordered all women during the programming in TV use mask. It's too difficult. I don't know United States has some reaction to them and what their expectation, what they want from the United States or an international community, because it's really tough decision. Every day they create a new regulation for women. Number two, can you update me about refugee number? How many came since August 15 and how many expected to come to the United States, please? Thank you.
Thank you for that. You raised the most recent set of restrictions, and it's important that we dwell on the fact that it's only the most recent, because these restrictions do come in the context of a number of restrictions that the Taliban has imposed on women and girls inside of Afghanistan, including the continuing ban on girls' secondary access to secondary education and work, restrictions on freedom of movement, and the targeting of peaceful protesters. We have said, I think I've said this to you, that the Taliban's policies towards women and girls, they are an affront to human rights. They will continue to negatively impact the relationship that the Taliban has and potentially hopes to have, not only with the United States, but with the rest of the world. We are discussing this with with other countries, with our allies and partners. You may have seen the joint statements that came out of the G7, also the joint press statement out of the UN Security Council. The legitimacy, the support the Taliban seeks from the international community, it depends on their conduct, including and centrally their respect for the rights of women. When it comes to the public and private commitments that the Taliban have made, they have made a number of them, including their counterterrorism commitments, including their pledge to respect and to uphold the human rights of women, girls, Afghanistan's minorities, including access, the freedom of access, freedom of travel for those who wish to leave Afghanistan, and when it comes to ISIS-K and Al-Qaeda. Of course, the Taliban has not been living up to the commitment it has made in the realm of human rights, in the realm of what it has pledged to the women and girls of Afghanistan. It is not just the United States that has taken note, but it is a number of countries around the world, including multilateral organizations, including the UN, that have also taken note. And of course, that will have implications for the world's relationship with the Taliban going forward.
And number two, how many refugees expected to come to the United States?
I don't have an updated refugee figure to offer, but we can get back to you on that. Yes.
Thank you. On North Korea and the PLC. So could you give us your reaction to the ballistic missile test yesterday? Is there any indication of another nuclear test on the PLC? Could you help us understand what would be the main focus of the Secretary's policy speech tomorrow?
So on the missile launches that we've seen overnight, we condemn the DPRK's multiple ballistic missile launches that took place last night Eastern Time. These launches are a violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions, and they are a threat to the region, a threat to its peace and stability. We call on the DPRK to refrain from further provocation and to engage in sustained dialogue. Our commitment to the defense of the ROK and to Japan is ironclad. That was a message that Secretary Blinken delivered to his Japanese and South Korean counterparts shortly after the most recent launches last night. Secretary Austin also spoke to his counterparts. This, of course, came on the heels of President Biden's meeting with his Japanese and ROK counterparts in Tokyo and South Korea. It is a testament, we think, to the strength of our alliances with the ROK and Japan, that we had this close coordination at multiple levels and multiple principles in the immediate aftermath of the launches of these ballistic missiles. In the Secretary's calls last night, all three officials strongly condemned the DPRK's ballistic missile launches as a clear violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. The Secretary noted our commitment to the defense of our treaty allies and affirmed the importance of continued close trilateral cooperation on the threat that is posed by the DPRK and towards the objective of the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. We know that the DPRK's ongoing provocations pose a threat to the region, pose a threat to all of us, and it's incumbent on the international community to join us in condemning the DPRK's flagrant and repeated violations of these multiple UN Security Council resolutions and to uphold their obligations under all relevant UN Security Council resolutions. When it comes to the Secretary's speech tomorrow, I, of course, want to allow the Secretary to deliver that speech before we go too far into detail, but he will deliver remarks at the the George Washington University in a speech that is being hosted by the Asia Society. He will outline our approach to the People's Republic of China. I think you will hear from the Secretary the fact that this relationship is one that will and has the potential to contour the international landscape. The next 10 years will, in many ways, be the decisive decade in the competition between the United States and China. That's why, even as we're focused together with our allies and partners on Russia's aggression in Ukraine, we've continued our focus on the long-term challenge of the PRC. And that's what the Secretary will detail tomorrow, how we're going to and how we have pursued that. Will.
Thank you. A Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Rudenko said today that he would support helping Ukrainian grain and other grain get out of the Black Sea today in exchange for the lifting of sanctions on Russian exports and financial industry. So I'm wondering if the U.S. supports that, given that, as many of us thought that negotiations that the UN was leading were looking for some sort of sanctions carve-out or sanctions exemption on fertilizers and food.
Well, first and foremost, we continue our close cooperation with our Ukrainian partners. What we said in the lead up to the invasion.
All right, we're going to mute Ned Price here for a second because we do still have all of these briefings going on. I need to check and see if they're still going on anyway. The market is going up though now. The statement, the FOMC minutes is out. It's been, like I said, a lot of movement since then. You saw it, right? The candles got bigger as well too. So it looks like it's wanting to break out to the upside, but like the homie was saying, you really kind of want to just wait towards the end of the day, man. Wait till tomorrow morning. It'll really give you your answer. Right now, it can look like something. It could be suspicious, you guys. It could look like one thing and then it could be another, So just wait, have patience. You don't want to get trapped and fooled by the frustration crew. They're still live doing that. Update on the Texas school mass shooting. That's still going on. It looks like this World Economic Forum briefing ended with the foreign minister. That's over. So we can kick off of that at least. And it looks like, let's see here. This may still be going on. No, that event has ended as well. We can click off of that. They still live on Capitol Hill, it looks like. Yeah, they are still live on Capitol Hill.
The clerk will call the roll. Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Barrasso.
Clerk is calling the roll for the senators, so they're voting on something. Let's look at this one. Let's see if this one is still live. This one just started when Ned Price started. This is the FDA officials. The FDA officials, you guys. They're having to testify about baby formula companies and the executives' nationwide shortages, you guys. So that's important. We can tune into this for quite a while.
Our retail partners to ensure that when those trucks arrive, they're the first at the distribution centers to ensure that the product gets to shelf quickly. Because it's not just about more, it's about how fast can we get it to shelf. And we are simplifying our supply chain by reducing the number of different products we make, focusing on those sizes and formats that allow us to get the most products out in the fastest time. We're taking all of these measures while keeping a close eye on quality and safety to ensure that we always meet the near pharmaceutical grade safety requirements that apply to infant formula production. We will take no shortcuts. We have also been working closely with the federal government to take every step we can to end this shortage as quickly as possible. Earlier this month, Mead Johnson and other infant formula manufacturers met
reporting hotlines, threat assessment.
This is the FBI's Christopher Wray. He's testifying before Congress right now. This is live.
When it comes to emergency situations, have you heard from your experts? What have you heard from your experts about the most effective ways to prevent and respond to these terrible events?
So I think what I would say is we're doing a number of things on this front to try to help harden, if you will. And I hate the fact that we even have to talk about hardening our schools, but it is a reality that
Market really pushing up here, you guys. Market really buying up here. They're really buying up for all of these briefings going on at one time.
bread and butter, the cases we're bringing of different sorts, violent crime, terrorism crime, gang crime, et cetera. We provide all sorts of support through training and capacity building. So we have trained, I think, something like 110,000 different law enforcement officers on active shooter response. We have put out a whole bunch of different PSAs and instructional videos to schools, to school resource officers, to school administrators, to houses of worship, to communities, as well as to law enforcement, to help them better defend. And there's a host of information in there. In addition to that, we're obviously providing forensic support through our lab. We're doing shooting incident reconstruction. I mentioned in my opening statement, in Uvalde, we have evidence response. That's often one of the things that we are quickly asked to provide by our state and local partners. But that's, of course, after the fact. And what we're trying to do is figure out how to better get in front of it.
We'd welcome your advice and suggestions. Last year in this room, you and I spoke at least briefly about counterintelligence threats along the southern border. 2 weeks earlier, I'd had the opportunity to question the Attorney General about the cartel's activities there. The purpose of those questions a year ago were to address what I'd learned on my visits to McAllen, Texas, that last year, that just previous to those hearings. Which is, while immigration dominates the conversation about the southern border, there are also grave national security threats there. This was confirmed just yesterday when an FBI search warrant unsealed in Ohio revealed that an assassination plot against former President George W. Bush included plans to smuggle assassins into the United States from Mexico. According to press reports, the suspect, an ISIS operative, was recorded claiming to have just smuggled 2 individuals associated with Hezbollah into the United States. Yesterday's events compel me to start again on this topic that we discussed last year. What's the FBI's assessment of our national security threats along our border, southern border in particular, but borders generally? And what can you tell us in this setting about the number of known or suspected terrorists or special interest aliens who have crossed into the United States from Mexico?
Well, certainly border security is a major challenge that cuts across a whole host of the programs that we serve. And the national security piece of it that you're highlighting is one part of it. Obviously, I'm very proud of the work that our folks did on the Ohio case that you mentioned. We obviously work closely with Secret Service on that to coordinate that, to make sure that it was all done in a way that prevented any true threat from coming to fruition. Certainly, any porous point of entry is a potential vulnerability that bad actors of all sorts, including national security threats, can seek to exploit. And I've been down to all of our field offices that have border crossings as part of their area of responsibility. I've had CBP folks show me around so I can see firsthand what they're dealing with, and they have a heck of a challenge on their hands. And we, through our joint terrorism task forces in particular, work very closely with our DHS partners to try to bring the counterterrorism dimension to the threat. I think that's probably all I would be able to say about it in an open hearing. But certainly, you're right to be focused on it as an issue of concern.
Perhaps we'll have the chance to have a closed session as well. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Moran. Senator Kennedy.
Mr. Director, I remember when you were nominated and confirmed. Boy, was I glad to see you. I believe then and I believe now that you're not a politician. I think your predecessor was. And he and others did immeasurable damage to one of the most important institutions in American government. Because I believe, as you do, that in addition to the DEA, the FBI is probably the premier law enforcement agency in all of human history, and it should be above politics. For the record, who is Michael Sussman?
Well, Michael Sussman is a lawyer who is currently involved in a trial by the Durham Special Counsel team.
His law firm, Perkins Coie, was counsel to Secretary Hillary Clinton's campaign, right?
Senator, I'm mindful, as I think you would expect me to be, that the case is currently in the middle of trial, and well, we have agents, and I have assigned.
I'm gonna interrupt here real quick. So I didn't know that the meme stocks on the high today, y'all. That's actually moving the market for real. GameStop's on the high, man. They're about $23 there. You got the meme names up today. That's what's going on too in the mix of all of this market turmoil. But yeah, man, GME, they are on the high right now. And pull them up here on the chart. They just went from $89 to $112, man. That's a really big move right there, considering this is a meme stock. And this is the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 basically been leading the way all day. They was 1% earlier, and they've been 1% all day, really. The Dow has been flip-floppity, been red and green here. They're down 12% now. The S&P 500 is actually picking up here, up 82% now. The Nasdaq's up about 1.40%, leading the way for everybody. And then, excuse me, you do see the volatility actually leaving the market. The VIX is going down here, but it's still pretty high. $28.95 is high, you guys. You really want the VIX below 20, man, for real. The VIX below 20, at least 25 before you see another bull run. So just stay cautious, because the VIX can easily just spike up and go green. And just keep in mind, the volatility can work in both directions. It can work either way. But usually when the VIX is red, that means the bulls take advantage of their stocks and ETFs. They'll go up. The Dow just went up 37% out of nowhere. So you guys saw that right there. It just went up from down 12%, up 37% now. So we do got the whole market green now officially. Everybody's in the green here. So we're looking bullish since the Fed minutes has came out about 39 minutes ago. It's so far bullish here. At least it's holding up anyway. So as bullish, but still in the bear market looking at the numbers. But the direction, the motion, the momentum, the chart is pointing upward, or at least trying to. So this could be a top, or this could be about to break out and go higher, make higher highs right now. So that's what we're looking at here. Like I said, just be cautious with that. VIX volatility can go both ways, you guys. But yeah, GameStop is on the high though, man. GameStop is definitely on the high, and that's really good for them, man. That's really, really good for GameStop. We got more briefings going on. We're trying to give everybody a chance here. They all trying to tell us something at one time. You'll see a lot of news news outlets, news articles, just basically right now and everything they're saying right now live. This is the nutrients experts. They testified in the House hearing examining the infant formula shortage, you guys. So these nutritionists, you guys, they're the nutrition experts. Basically, they're testifying in the House hearing examining the infant formula shortage.
A big reason for this is the food program has second-class status within FDA, and it's resulted in serious problems. The FDA also lacks a single, full-time, fully empowered expert leader of all aspects of the food program. As you know, in recent decades, most FDA commissioners have been medical specialists who naturally focus on the programs impacting medical products. This is certainly warranted considering the impact these programs have on public health, and the pandemic is a perfect example of this. However, this usually results in intense competition for the commissioner's time and support, and focus on the food program is typically what has suffered under this dynamic. It has become impossible for an FDA commissioner to possess the bandwidth to provide leadership and accountability to a set of offices that regulate 80% of our food supply. It is this fragmented structure that led an unprecedented coalition of consumer groups, industry trade associations, and state and local regulators to join together recently to call on FDA to unify the food program under a deputy commissioner for foods. This position would have accountability to the commissioner and direct line authority over CFSAN, CDM, and the food-related operations of ORA. This will bring focused leadership and accountability to the food program. The current fragmented structure of the food program results in delays in making compliance decisions, including recalls. Congress and the HHS Inspector General should investigate how this fragmented structure and leadership affected its response to the Abbott infant formula problem. Perhaps sensing this frustration, Dr. Califf recently announced the appointment of Dr. Janet Woodcock, FDA's principal deputy commissioner, to oversee several parts of the FDA, including the major food program offices. This is another issue where consumer groups and industry agree. This move is disappointing and needs reconsideration. Dr. Woodcock's extensive FDA career has focused on policies impacting medical products, but she has no notable food policy credentials. Plus, this new arrangement provides no integration or accountability and no expert leader. It virtually ensures that the food program will continue to have second-class status. Another area where there are serious questions is how funding is allocated within the FDA food program. This is an issue that Chairwoman DeLauro and Chairman Bishop have led in seeking these answers. ORA, which is responsible for inspections and compliance, receives approximately 70% of all FDA food program funding.
All right, looks like we got it down to 4 briefings now. One briefing and 3 testimonies. That's what's happening right now. a lot of top officials, executives, FDA, big people in the world, man, big titles. They got to testify about the nationwide shortage, you guys. Like I said, like remember, everybody's panicking about it, talking about it, so somebody has to take the blame for it. So these are the people that they're blaming, but they're stepping forward. They're testifying and saying, "Well, hey, look, this is their point of view. This is what we think, and this is what we're going to try to do to help fix the cause." So that's what's just going on right now. So just kind of pay attention to detail. This has a lot to do with the market, you guys, because this will make or break the market here. This all sounds like recession talk, if you ask me. So it just seems like, if things don't get better, you guys, prices will definitely get lower. So right now it is green here, but we've been in the market for quite a while. We've seen the all-time highs. We know how high this market can go. This is not really too high, but it is up today. So just be cautious, and just wait. Have some patience. Like I said, there's a swing opportunity here, and there's definitely a day trade opportunity here for tomorrow, but a swing before the close is definitely there. I'm seeing though, because since the volatility from the official Fed minutes, yeah, it's been serious. They basically just created a whole new payment system there by doing all that movement. So that's what's going on right now, you guys, and we're just trying to. They're actually telling us why all of this is even happening too. So if you just try to pay attention to detail, I'm skimming through all of them. I know we can't get all of it at one time, but I'm just going through all of them. So we're just getting out the little pinpoint out the facts here. What we know is moving the market, and what we know over here at LCAOD, what we're looking for in the near future, you guys. We're looking for certain things to be said and make it make sense, you guys. Like I said, because right now the fear and the greed situation, the fear is mad high right now. So that just means that we can only go into a recession if it's that fearful. So if we're not coming out of this fearful mentality and getting back neutral and at least trying to push it to the greed again, then things will definitely reset. So that's what it's looking like here. Just about the kids, they having formula shortages. That ain't right. Kids out here getting killed. This mass shooting. Just a lot going on under Biden's administration right now too. So pay attention to detail as well, like I said. But the main thing is just really just listening and learning right here, you guys. You learn something right here, you might earn something later for it. But just best thing to do right here in these type of times. We play the FOMC minutes or the statement, but today just say like one of the days where you want to just listen and wait. It's probably the best thing you can do, So let's tune back in. They're still talking about it right here. These are the FDA officials, you guys. They're talking about baby formula company executives. They're testifying and on nationwide shortage, you guys. Nationwide shortage with the formula. So let's tune in and see what they're saying.
Parents and families to where there might be product, and we're continuing to update that information.
I know my time is running out, but through you, Madam Chair, I would like each of these gentlemen to get back to us about how they're getting the word out as this stuff comes back online, because I'm very much afraid that people are not going to know how to get it. So if through you, Madam Chair, I could ask each of them to get back to us with that information of what they're doing. Thank you.
We'll ask the witnesses to supplement their statements with that. Thank you. Chair will now recognize the ranking member of the full committee, Mrs. Morris Rogers, for 5 minutes. Thank you, Madam Chair. According to the Washington Post editorial by Robert Ford, CEO of Abbott, quote, the FDA's investigation did discover a bacteria in our plant that we will not tolerate. Mr. Calamari, what is Abbott's understanding as to why a bacteria was discovered in the Sturgis plant?
Representative, thank you for the question. So the bacteria in question was found in a part of the facility that's not in contact with product, which is absolutely not acceptable, to be clear. And we have taken action to make sure we put processes and training in place so that does not happen. I will say that the bacteria infection in question is commonly occurring, and part of our process is to test that to make sure we catch it before it gets distributed to product.
Thank you. Does Abbott agree with the government's view that there were persistent problems at the Sturgis plant and that Abbott failed to take sustainable corrective action?
Representative, what I can tell you is
Something she was in the
we
school
have
system would have been.
a decade of reviews and inspections at the Sturgis facility. And in 2019, when there was an observation, we quickly addressed it. In 2021, we've taken action to address those observations. So we value our relationship with our regulators. We have a safety first and we prioritize compliance. And we want to make sure we continue to invest in those processes going forward to come out of this even stronger.
Well, how can you give us confidence that Abbott is going to address the underlying causes of continued compliance problems?
Representative, I was there last week, and we as a leadership team are fully committed, all resources against it. We are aligned as leaders to make sure we put the necessary steps and sustained actions in place so that this doesn't happen again.
When was your company first contacted by the White House about the emergency response to this shortage problem?
Representative, so we've been working on more recently with the White House, coming out of the recent announcements President Biden has made. But we've been working on trying to get back to supply, and we've been working on our action plan from the moment in February and before, when we became aware that we were going to need to get more capacity online.
So you've been working on addressing these issues since February to get back online?
So we've been working on a variety of actions. We've been airlifting our product from Coot Hill, Ireland. That's something we've always done, and we've increased the amounts of doing so. In February and March, when we became aware of the recall, that's when we started making the necessary steps to convert our adult manufacturing lines to liquid. So we've been acting on this in a variety of work streams to make sure we can get as much product available as possible, as soon as possible.
So what is the difference between what you started doing in February versus where we are today and the consent decree and what you're going to be able to accomplish in the next 2 weeks?
I think the big piece what the consent decree does, it allows us to go forward with Sturgis with an aligned set of principles that we can work with FDA and make sure we're producing in an aligned fashion. That's the big step forward, because that will increase our capacity versus the previous actions by an additional 40%.
So how does that differ from the actions that you were taking in February versus what's in the consent decree?
The actions in February, we have a variety of manufacturing facilities. So we were working on increasing supply in non-Sturgis related facilities. The consent decree is very specific to the Sturgis facility and allows us to act in an aligned fashion of production going forward.
Since February, have you been taking action in Sturgis to address the concerns that have been raised around bacteria in the plant?
Yes, we have. We've been taking a variety of actions to improve the plant's capabilities and its infrastructure, and we've taken action from the get-go.
But you haven't been able to satisfy the FDA yet?
I think that with the consent decree, we're now in an aligned position to move forward.
I'm just trying to understand how we're going to be able to accomplish this in a 2-week period when over months, it sounds like the company has been attempting to address the bacteria that was found.
So, Representative, what we've done is we've made a variety of updates to the plant, and now we're in the stages. It's a 700,000 square foot facility, so now we're cleaning, testing, validating to make sure every process step is in place, every quality check is in place to make sure when we get up and running, we could do so in a sustained fashion.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, for holding this hearing today. It's very important that we address this crisis. I appreciate the chance to ask the question. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ms. Kester, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'm grateful for this hearing.
We're going to switch time over to, we're going to switch it back to, let's see, Ned Price. Let's see if Ned Price is still alive, you guys.
Yes.
China's also said to be pursuing a new regional agreement with Pacific Island nations that would expand Beijing's role in policing, maritime cooperation, and cybersecurity. They're also planning to offer scholarships for more than 2,000 workers and young diplomats from the region.
Do you see this as a reaction to President Biden's trip to Japan and meeting with allies? And what concerns do you have about this expanded regional agreement, if any?
I think it would be a stretch to call this a reaction to President Biden's engagement. I think this may be a reflection, the PRC's response to our sustained engagement with the region since we came into office. Of course, President Biden's visit to Japan, to South Korea was only the latest element of that, but we have had senior officials from the White House, senior officials from the State Department travel to the region, including to the Pacific Islands region, to speak of our vision for an affirmative partnership with the countries of the region. This is precisely what Secretary Blinken laid out when from Indonesia. He spoke of our Indo-Pacific strategy, our strategy for the region that depicts the United States as a partner of choice, not a partner of compulsion. And since we have repeatedly and consistently spoken of what we can bring to the relationships with countries in the Pacific Islands. When it comes to what we have seen of the PRC's foreign minister's intention to travel, we're aware of media reports of his travel. We are also aware that China seeks to negotiate a range of arrangements during the foreign minister's visit to the region. We are concerned that these reported agreements may be negotiated in a rushed, non-transparent process. At the same time, we respect the ability of countries of the region to make sovereign decisions in the best interests of their people. It's worth noting that the PRC has a pattern of offering shadowy, vague deals with little transparency or regional consultation in areas related to fishing, related to resource management, development assistance, and more recently even security practices. And these recent security agreements have been conducted with little regional consultation, provoking public concern not only in the United States, but across the Indo-Pacific region. And we don't believe that importing security forces from the PRC and their methods will help any Pacific Island country. On the other hand, doing so could only seek to fuel regional international tensions and increase concerns over Beijing's expansion of its internal security apparatus to the Pacific. So we have had recent engagements with our Pacific Island counterparts. This, of course, was a discussion in the context of the Quad at the leader level with President Biden and the newly sworn in Australian Prime Minister and our other Quad partners. This, of course, was a topic of discussion when Secretary Blinken traveled to the Pacific Island region in February and spoke in very concrete terms regarding what the United States is able to offer in our affirmative partnerships. Yes?
There is an Iraqi delegation in town. Did any official from this building meet with them?
I do not know offhand if there was. Spoke in very concrete terms regarding what the United States is able to offer in our affirmative part. Spoke in very concrete terms.
We're gonna move on from there. Probably buffering, so we're gonna move on back over here to. Looks like they still alive. Yep, the nutrition experts testifying in House hearing examining the infant formula shortage.
Responsibility lies. In the interim, I think that Mr. Ronholm has laid out a structure because we know that it takes a while to get to where we want to go. But eventually, single food safety agency. We now have 15 agencies at the federal level who deal with some form of food safety. The principal ones are USDA and FDA. It should be one single agency. Mr. Ronholm, October, the report, the FDA received a report from a worker from the Abbott manufacturing facility in Michigan, unveiling a damning list of allegations: falsification of records, testing steals on empty cans, releasing untested infant formula, to name a few. Have you read the whistleblower report? And then as a food safety, thank you. As a food safety expert, what was the allegation that you found alarming?
The most alarming allegation in the report that I found would be the falsification of records. Now, falsifying records doesn't necessarily represent an immediate food safety threat in and of itself, but what it does reflect is the lack of a strong food safety culture at the facility, and that points to a much deeper problem that exists both at the facility and within the corporation. So when you have that level of a food safety culture problem, it results in things like gloating about hiding information from the FDA and other more immediate food safety threats like releasing the untested products, the unsanitary conditions of the plant, and failure to take corrective actions. And you think of the other things that falsifying information can lead to, such as making it difficult to recall bad products. It would be difficult to trace where and what communities were affected by a particular recall if the records have been falsified or not available. There would be no way to look back at fixing problems that have been identified in the past. So you have all of this, you have all of these activities, all of these important actions that plants take tied to falsifying records. So that to me is a major red flag of how a bad food safety culture can permeate an organization.
Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, I wish Dr. Califf, when I asked him that question, had a similar answer, or at least had an answer to that issue. Dr. Carney, my opening remarks on Monday, I did a roundtable event with community organizations, Mothers on Infant Formula. I mentioned the grandmother brought two of her grandchildren to the emergency room experiencing vomiting and diarrhea. Later, the grandmother realized that the formula she was giving her grandchildren were part of the recall. A couple of quick questions. Currently, Coronavector is not a reportable disease. Does that contribute to the issue of tracking?
Thank you so much, Mr. Deloro. I don't know if that is an issue of tracking. I think it is, yeah, because it is not a diagnosed disease. And the only way we would know is if somebody was admitted for those different symptoms that you've just described, is to look at what they were, look at their condition, look at what they had consumed, and knowing what formula or feeding had been recommended for them. So we have to know if formula is contaminated before it gets to the children. We cannot let that happen and then try to diagnose that in the emergency room or in the hospital somewhere so that it can be correct. So
all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's officially Power Hour. And this is new to me, probably old to you. But yeah, Amazon is official with their 20-to-1 stock split, ladies and gentlemen. It is starting to pick up here too. It's been up all day. They approved it. The board approved it this morning around about 10 this morning, you guys. That's why it shot up like that. But just keep in mind, 20-to-1 stock split mean they about to reset that price come June so it can really rally and go as high as it wants right now. SPY's picking up here 398. This is an all-time high for the day right here on the SPY. We ain't seen 400 in a while. The bull's back. Uh-oh. I think the bulls might be back here, you guys. This bull is alive. Amazon is picking up here, you guys. That stock split momentum is going now. It's officially approved by the board, you guys. So that means they can really just go up until June if they feel like it. Let's keep in mind what happened with Tesla in 2020. But everybody will treat their stock split differently, though. It don't got to do the same thing as Tesla, obviously. But this is Amazon. Let's not trip. Let's not trip. Now, that market cap is really high. They really got the bag here. It's a $10 billion stock split here, you guys. They got $10 billion to buy back after the split. They got $10 billion to buy back after the split. Keep that in mind. SPY's going up here. Triple Q's going up, you guys. Amazon is really picking up here. This thing can really run. It's about June ain't coming up. We got probably, another week or two till June? Yeah, June coming up. They ain't really hit us with a date. I think it's the 3rd. It might be the 10th. But, yeah, SPY's going up. Amazon's going up here. They can really run till June. Keep that in mind. They can really get back to 22 quickly. And then if 22 is not safe, 22.50. 22 is not cool there either. 23. Here come Amazon. I'm seeing a lot of buying volume picking here now, you guys. Like I said, they got baby formula coming back into the States right now. It's a lot of briefings going on at one time. They telling us a lot at one time. We got the FBI getting tested. They getting testified too. Everybody catching some heat today. But they got the market on green light, green light, green light, green light. Spot 3.99. Here we go. Spot 3.99. Spot starting to rally, you guys. 3.99 10 cent. It is picking up here, you guys. Uh-oh. See, the only thing now is I do know the spot's running into some deep water. This bull that's coming back alive don't know its surroundings yet. So let it run for now. It's not seeing where it's still at, you guys. We're still in the bear market. We're still in the woods, you guys. We are not out of the woods. Don't get it twisted here just from this momentum that's happening. Yeah, it feels good if you're buying it today. If you would have caught that bottom, you are golden. But just be thinking about booking profits by 4, you guys. It's something to think about because this whole 2022, we have not seen a gain hold overnight. That's real. So you ain't been able to, if you don't day trade and it runs like this, you might catch it in the early that morning, 9:30. But if you don't get out by then, they retrace those gains, you guys. They come back and get them. So keep that in mind. Just know what you're doing there. But you should be good. Everybody's golden right now. I think they're going off with the Amazon news. The SPY's rallying. There's a lot of briefings going on at one time. It all sounds like they're working on fixing the problems. It sounds good for right now. This could be a false breakout, though, as well. So just stay cautious. It's power hour, you guys.
Is a very important fuel, not just to addiction in this country, but to violence in this country. And that's one of the parts that the FBI plays a pretty big role in. You have transnational criminal organizations in Mexico enlisting the help of gangs and other organizations here in the U.S. to distribute the drugs, and there's violence over turf, over distribution routes, etc. I know that when I've been down to the border and talked to the CBP folks there and to our field offices that have responsibility in that area, the quantity of the seizures that they routinely are engaged in make the seizures in other parts of the country look really quite small by comparison. I mean, it's just another day in the life for a lot of them. And so it's striking. And I think you're correct that the overdose death statistic or the overdose statistic itself in some ways underestimates the scope of the problem, in part because Narcan happily has become so much more widely available, but that in turn ends up almost masking the problem. So the effectiveness of first response, which is a good thing, is actually maybe misleading some into thinking that the problem is not as bad as it really is, and it's really an epidemic.
And finally, just a quick question. You were talking about domestic terrorism with Senator Capito. Would you agree that the sources of domestic terrorism include groups and ideologies on the left, on the right, from overseas, such as ISIS? In other words, there's not just one ideological source of domestic terrorism, is there?
Certainly, when we look at domestic terrorism, we focus on the violence, and we're sort of ideology agnostic, if you will. And the terrorism, the domestic terrorism threat we see covers the waterfront from people. We don't use terms like left and right, but we see the racially motivated violent extremists. We see militia violence and anarchist violence. We see people with this kind of a salad bar of ideologies that don't fit into any category. And then, of course, we tend to bucket it under the international terrorism side, the ISIS-inspired folks who are here. They're not sent here by ISIS, but they're here and they're radicalized online. That's a huge category, and the plot that we disrupted that was talked about earlier involving the attempt to kill former President Bush is a good example of that threat. So I think I understand the focus on ideology, but for us, the focus has to be on the violence to make sure that we're not missing something in that regard.
And that's where it should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Collins. Senator Braun.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can't remember the last time we've had the chance to speak, but good to have you back again. I want to go back to, and I think I asked Mr. Garland or somebody else this question, but when you go back to 2020, the summer of it, there was a lot of crime in our cities. And of course, what I've been hearing mostly about would be the arrests that we've made associated with January 6th. So can you give me some kind of accounting in terms of all the various incidents that occurred across our big cities that had, the crime in the streets, where I think we actually ended up with more people killed, lots of downtown businesses, burned and damaged. Have we been as diligent there as we have on the January 6th issue? And just give me a general accounting, where I know that we've arrested over 700 individuals associated with it. What have we accomplished from what was, something maybe even broader in scope in terms of damage and lives lost?
So I don't have exact numbers for you here, but what I will tell you is that the violence amidst all the civil unrest over the summer of 2020, we used all 56 of our field offices. We used our joint terrorism task forces in all 56 of our field offices. There were hundreds of investigations, hundreds of arrests. Now, I should pause on that last part, because often there is, as you know, no domestic terrorism offense, federal domestic terrorism offense. So a lot of times we on our joint terrorism task forces, which have state and local officers assigned to them, part of the reason for that is that sometimes the most effective charge is a state charge. So a lot of times the federal investigations from some of the activity over the summer resulted ultimately in some state charge. But we had any number of cases involving Molotov cocktails, burning and firebombing, police cars, things like that. And we continue. They don't get a lot of attention in the press, but we continue to develop cases and bring charges still from some of the activity back then. So we have not taken our foot off the gas on those cases.
I didn't know if you have that information. I'd like to know with a little more specificity, and get back to the office later in terms of what that kind of comparison would be in terms of arrests and convictions based on January 6th versus the whole spectrum of what occurred back in the summer of 2020, if you would.
I'll see what we can get you on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tragically, we've had another shooting occur. I'm interested in that mental health component. I'm interested in whether it's racially motivated, whether it's just somebody that is out to create havoc like just occurred. What are we doing that takes information that in many cases is broadcast as aggressively as being in a manifesto? Maybe not that direct, but we pick up always after the fact that there's been some telegraphing of what might happen. So are we doing what you...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you see 12 minutes into Power Hour, the market is rallying here. We got the high of the day so far. Since the Fed minutes came out, the market has went bullish, you guys. Went just straight up from here. I'm showing it right here on the spot. This is when it started, and you know what I'm saying? That's where we at now. That's Amazon there. They're just going crazy. Amazon even went back down for everybody just so they could get a second chance to get in right there. But you wasn't going to get that morning dip. No way. They was not going that far. But they did take it to at least that first dip from probably like the first 20 minutes. They gave you that dip at least. But not the first opening dip. No way. No, they didn't go that far. But they did come back down here to 2107. And now look at them. 2162, you guys. Almost near 22 that fast. So like I'm saying, they got the 20-to-1 stock split. I can see about 2,400 before this thing is over and said and done. They can run about another $300 if they wanted to. This is Amazon, you guys. Or this really might be the top for them. They'll probably just back test all of this, lose that whole $62 and just come back to 2,100 again. Either way there, that's a pretty big movement. But the SPY is going up here, you guys. $399.45 on the SPY. We about to touch 400. We about to be back at the 400 levels, you guys. We haven't seen this in a while here. The Bulls are gaining momentum. The Bears are losing momentum. And let's switch it to the Senators. Let's see. They're discussing the Texas school shooting. All of this is moving the market.
You're always asking, where next?
All these briefings are moving the market, man. This is your news here. This is the news you follow to know what's going on at all times. This is what matches. This is the conversation for the charts and numbers here. So yeah, just know that they still voting. Yep, you see it live.
Mr. Cornyn.
Putting in new rules because of that shooting.
Mr. Cotton. Ms. Collins. Mr. Kins. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton.
So yeah, they just still doing that there, just counting voting on their new rules and protocols they got going on. Let's see if this is still going on. This is about the FDA officials, about the baby formula company executives. They're testifying on nationwide shortage. We tune back into this.
The process of getting that plant certified by the FDA so it could be a permanent source of supply for the U.S. market. Obviously, since the recall, we've been working with the FDA on can we compress the timeline to that approval so that product from that plant can be available to address the shortage right now to fill the shelves. And that is an ongoing process, and the FDA is moving quickly with us on it. We're also taking advantage of the FDA's import exception to submit for approval to bring product from our plant in Singapore, which has also been making infant formula for children throughout Asia for many, many years and very successfully, and we think could go a long way to helping with the current shortage at the shelf here in the U.S. And those are active conversations practically every day with the FDA on how to get both of those options in line and moving very quickly.
Thank you. We're looking forward to that. Mr. Fitz, how is Gerber coordinating with the FDA to make sure that these products are quickly delivered to American families without compromising quality and safety standards?
Yes, so thank you for the question. Certainly, the current urgency is there, and we have already applied made two requests to FDA for exceptional approval to temporarily import product from a German facility that makes product for all European and global markets, and we've submitted those two applications within the past week.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your indulgence. I yield back.
I thank the gentlelady. Mr. Palmer, you're now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And following on my colleague, Ms. Sankowski, I'm going to just lay out some things here, Mr. Calamari, that I'm going to ask you to respond to in a moment. But in 2019, Abbott found a chronobacter, a potentially deadly pathogen in your product. It was also determined that an inadequate pathogen testing was being done at your Sturgis plant to ensure that the required quality standards were being met. Your company had received complaints from nurses and parents who believed your product was making infants sick. I think you received 16 of those between 2019 and 2021. Yet there were no inspections from October 2019 until 2021 by either the FDA or Michigan, despite the fact that you knew there were problems. 2021 inspections, when they did start back, found numerous violations, mishandling raw materials, mishandling packaging and equipment, pitting in the dryers that could result in growth of bacteria, failure to maintain building and clean and sanitary conditions, as has been mentioned several times in this hearing and the previous panel. And what's interesting to me is that when the inspections finally started, the pattern of the FDA routinely was surprise visits. But but Abbott was notified several days in advance of that inspection. Were you informed? Were you notified that the FDA would be inspecting the plant?
So there's an annual inspection process, and we would have known that in each year we anticipate a scheduled.
That's not what I'm asking you. Were you notified that the FDA was coming to that facility?
No, I was not.
Okay. So I'll follow up on that later. Because it's not the usual manner that the FDA does these inspections. The other interesting thing about the inspection is that even though these issues were identified, they were not included in the FDA's report. And I'm wondering if there was a discussion between Abbott management and the FDA in regard to what the inspection found. Was there a discussion between Abbott and the FDA about the problems at the plant?
Representative, I'm not aware of any such discussion.
Were you aware of these issues before the FDA inspection?
I personally was not.
Okay, who would have been?
Our team in Sturgis would regularly be working on the processes and steps necessary to make sure we're producing to satisfaction.
Could you give us, submit to the committee the names of the people who give us the names of those people who would have known that ahead of the FDA?
All right, we're gonna go back, move it on over to Ned Price. If he is still out, I don't know. A lot of interruptions, signal interruptions here. Oh, they're done over there. Ned Price is done. Okay, so now we're just boiling it down to what's moving the market is this FBI situation.
Looking for a free project management solution?
So wait a second, skip ad, skip it.
Of the opposite party, and it seems to not have held much water. Can you understand why people would be concerned about that?
I certainly understand why people are concerned.
And the Horowitz review of the Crossfire Hurricane, you're familiar with his findings, the Inspector General.
Yes.
This is your chance to tell the American people that you're going to make sure that never happens again, and you're dedicated to making sure that, for whatever reason, there are no more Carter Pages investigations that seem to have gotten completely off the rails.
So I will put the Sussman case to the side for the moment because I don't want to comment on a case that's in front of the jury right now. But let me say this: what the conduct that is described in the Inspector General's report, I consider to be utterly unacceptable and also unrepresentative of the FBI that I see every day. And my firm instructions to our people are that we need to make sure that that never happens again. And we have implemented over 40 corrective measures that go directly to the things that are described in that report. We've made changes of the entire leadership team in the FBI. And the FBI that I see today in 2022 is very different from what's described in that report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Graham. I have another round of questions. I assume you do as well, Senator Moran. I want to talk about something that we discussed a little bit on the phone this week, and that is the whole task force klepto capture and what we might do to address not just Russian officials and oligarchs, circumvention of sanctions and export restrictions, but also what needs to happen to address the ability of transnational crime organizations, corrupt officials in places like Russia from being able to park their money in our financial system in the United States and the West, and what we need to do to prevent that. And I want to start with the fact that we provided the FBI with over $43 million in supplemental funding for the task force klepto capture as part of the 2022 omnibus. Can you talk a little bit about how you're using that funding and what else we ought to be thinking about as we're looking at how we address the ability of criminals to use our financial system for their own benefit?
Well, first let me say that those who've been profiting from corruption in Russia and treating the world like it's their playground by evading sanctions are people we are coming after and working closely with partners not just across the federal government, but also with a whole host of foreign partners. And obviously the new klepto capture task force is an integral, really at the heart of that effort. And we've had some success already in freezing bank accounts, luxury yachts, artwork, things like that. Sometimes that's through enabling the FBI provides information to a foreign partner and they're able to take action to seize or freeze, and sometimes it's through us using our own authorities. We're also going after, and this is important, and it goes to something I think that you and I talked about on the phone, it goes to not just the oligarchs, the sanctioned individuals themselves, but to the whole ecosystem or infrastructure that they rely on, the people that they may have on their payroll, the people that otherwise enable them to engage in the corruption and the sanctions evasion. And that's an important part of it. As to the funds, the 43 million that you referred to, for which we're very grateful, we're using that in a variety of ways. We have some of it is, of course, going to our cyber efforts and our counterintelligence efforts related to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But we are using it part for our agents and personnel on the klepto capture task force, as well as, and this is an important piece, our pursuit of the cryptocurrency, because that's an important ingredient for a lot of the bad actors here, many of whom think that they can hide behind the anonymization that exists with virtual currency, and they're not as clever as they think they are, but we have to continue to evolve our own technologies and tradecraft to be able to go after them, and we've made some very significant seizures of cryptocurrency lately, working with the Department of Justice, and that's going to be an increasingly important part of this going forward.
So what's been the biggest obstacle in trying to address activity, particularly with respect to Russia and the war in Ukraine and those sanctions?
I think I would say that the biggest challenge that we face is a lot of these folks are pretty savvy about relying on opaque other foreign jurisdictions. So there are ways in which, by taking advantage of some of those other systems, they're able to make it more challenging for us to follow the money and get after the money. Not necessarily impossible, and there's a role here for diplomacy, State Department, Treasury Department, others, in engaging with some of those foreign partners to work better with us to help make sure that we've clamped down on the system.
Any particular entities that you would like to name?
I think the State Department would probably appreciate it if I didn't name specific countries in an open hearing, but.
Although you pointed out we are cooperating with the international community, and I have heard from some officials that there are entities that may be part of other countries where countries have cracked down in country, but those entities where they still have.
If you're thinking about buying solar panels.
All right, man. It's approaching. We got 30 minutes left here almost. Closing bell. We got earnings after the bell, you guys. We do see some resistance right here on these levels that the SPY and the triple Qs is hitting. So just be cautious right here. But just know anything can happen after hours, man. It's a lot of suspicious activity going on. I ain't even gonna cap with you. So you just want to really just chill right here. I mean, really doing nothing is the best thing you could possibly do. But like I said, there is an opportunity to swing, or day trade tomorrow. Just wait. But the opportunity is at your own risk, though. You feel me? I mean, make sure it's something that's affordable. I wouldn't be, all in here. This ain't a casino. It's a business at the end of the day. But it sounds like some things may be good, but it still seems like the Bears ain't having it, and we ain't gonna get no higher. But we'll see. We'll see right now.
You and I heard the commentary from law enforcement, local and state law enforcement, when we were together in March in Kansas. I understand that as of May, I think it's early May, the FBI surged resources in 6 field offices, and it secured significant arrests and firearm seizures from violent criminals. Director Ray, is the FBI considering additional resource surges over the coming year or expanding its existing task force network?
So on the surges, I think what you're referring to is a new team that I created about 6 months or so ago, which is called our Violent Crime Rapid Deployment Teams. And what that does is we've been sending it to particularly hard-hit hotspots or cities at the embrace or request of both the FBI field office and our local partners to assist. And we've had very good luck in the 6 or so cities where we've done that. I know in Buffalo, for example, several months ago, we had about a 50% decrease in homicides during the surge. In Milwaukee, I think we had a pretty significant decrease. But that's by its very nature somewhat temporary. We can't send those teams to just be there sort of in perpetuity. So part of what we're trying to do is both achieve a short-term dramatic reduction by listening closely to the locals as to what they most need, but then also trying to put in place things that will have a more sustained, durable impact that will outlive the team's deployment. We expect to continue that model, to keep sending that team to different places. But ultimately, as you and I think discussed recently, this is a problem, the violent crime problem, that dominates every discussion I have with chiefs and sheriffs all the time. We had our last nationwide data was a 5% increase in the violent crime rate, which doesn't sound like much to some Americans until you stop and think that means 67,000 people, victims of violent crime that would not have been a victim the year before. And the homicide rate went up 30%, which is, I think, the highest in like 50 years increase. So any resources the subcommittee would be able to send us on the violent crime problem could immediately be put to very effective use. And there'd be a lot of state and local partners who would be very grateful as well, because one of the things we're really trying to do all across the country is lean in to see where we can take cases federally to get some of the worst of the worst and to dismantle some of the most significant gangs and keep them off the streets for a much longer period of time.
Director, let me explore just a minute longer the idea of surging, and the point you make, I think, is a good one. Certainly anyone whose life is saved or property is not stolen because of a surge, that's a valuable thing. But what we need is longer term results from that surge. So is there something that happens structurally? I mean, first of all, I'd say is we're getting more guns out of the hands of people who are not entitled to have guns, I assume, in that surge. And we're putting more criminals who are likely to commit violent crimes to be incarcerated. Those ought to have some longer lasting effect rather than just the amount of time that your additional resources are in the community.
You're exactly right. There are two key concepts here, partnership and intelligence. Partnership meaning it's got to be a team effort. It's got to be, how do we put the FBI's together with the state and local law enforcement partners and ATF and DEA and marshals put one agency's two with another agency's two and have it equal more than four, right? How to get a synergy where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So partnership is key. And then the second piece, intelligence, is when you hear intelligence, really what you should take away from that, what Americans should just take away from that is that's better understanding the problem in order to prioritize going after the thing that's really driving the violent crime in order to have a longer lasting impact. So that might mean identifying particular gangs that are wreaking havoc on a neighborhood. It could mean a particular neighborhood that is disproportionately being fought over by Teen 2 gangs. It could be any number of things, but if you get good intelligence and then the partnership acts based on that intelligence with a strategy, that's how you get an impact that lasts longer.
Works that way. I'd be interested in knowing, Director, if there's any characteristics about the communities that have the most significant increases in violent crime, the most prevalent violent crime. When you focus your efforts on a particular community, what is the common denominator among those communities? And then perhaps we can try to deal with the underlying reason that a community is experiencing that increase.
You know, violent crime is, by its nature, unfortunately, a little bit different everywhere. And that's why we really have to take not a one-size-fits-all. And so what I mean by that is, in one community, it might be a particular neighborhood gang that has just run amok. And if you really drill down, you may find that the homicide rate is being disproportionately driven by that one gang's activity. In another community, there could be a rampage of commercial robberies or carjackings, and that's what's really driving it. In another place, it could be a particular neighborhood or a particular corridor on a highway that's part of a drug trafficking route. In another place, it could be, and this is something we are seeing in a lot of places, too many repeat dangerous offenders who are either out on bail or who have been not serving very long sentences. And the only thing more frustrating to law enforcement than having to arrest somebody who should be behind bars is having to arrest the same person over and over and over again.
That's a good point for that. That's something that can be pursued. That's a concrete path that could be advanced. Let me, I told Senator Shaheen one more question. I meant one more topic. And in September of last year, you testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee that the FBI's failure for its mishandling of the Larry Nassar investigation was, quote, inexcusable. It never should have happened, and we're doing everything in our power to make sure it never happens again. To that end, you testified that the FBI had begun implementing all 4 recommendations from the Inspector General's report. Could you please provide me with an update on where that implementation of those recommendations stand?
I could happy to provide it to you in writing maybe afterwards, if that would be helpful. I mean, for the most part, I think we've implemented all of them quite a while ago. And certainly we took disciplinary action against the one agent who was still with the FBI, you know, once we learned what had happened. And it's hard for me to explain to you how angry and upset I was when I learned what the FBI did and failed to do back in 2015. But I'm determined to make it right now that I'm here, and we're gonna make sure that everybody in the FBI learns the lessons from that just tragic experience.
I appreciate that. Senator Blumenthal and I and our subcommittee in the Commerce Committee spent a year and a half exploring, investigating, and providing recommendations for legislation that became law. And we share that frustration, that anger about how everyone who should have done something didn't do it well or didn't do anything. And again, as you, I think, would agree, we would expect the FBI to be among the most purist in their willingness, desire, and capabilities to respond to somebody in need. So it is a terribly sad circumstance. And we await the Department of Justice making some decisions about what to do, if anything, in regard to those individuals.
And just to be clear on that part, you know, we don't, that's really between the Inspector General and the Department of Justice.
I wasn't suggesting it. It's a question I asked the Attorney General, but I wanted to highlight it for perhaps when he reviews your testimony, he will know that he's been questioned once again about this topic. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, thank you very much for raising that issue. And Director Ray, if you do send the response to Senator Moran, I hope, Senator Moran, you'll share it with the members of the committee, because I know there are a lot of people on the committee who are concerned about it. Your final exchange for that issue raised a question for me, because you were talking about the federal crimes that you're investigating. And as we know, the top law enforcement official in our states when it comes to federal crimes are U.S. attorneys. And I have been very troubled by the delay in getting U.S. attorneys in place across this country. And I just wondered if you could speak to what happens if we don't have somebody in that role, if we have somebody who's just acting, or that U.S. attorney has not been officially put in place to take charge of those investigations, and what kind of challenges that presents as you're trying to bring a case before court.
Well, I want to be a little bit careful here. What I would say is the acting U.S. attorneys around the country, in my experience, are some of the most dedicated, most seasoned, most capable prosecutors, federal prosecutors that are out there. And I know a number of them personally and have enormous respect for them. Having said that, it is helpful to a U.S. Attorney's Office and to a law enforcement community to have a Senate-confirmed, presidentially appointed U.S. Attorney, because at least in some districts, that's what's required for important initiatives to be pursued, for sometimes, important personnel changes to be made in an office. Having served in a U.S. Attorney's Office and having been Assistant Attorney General dealing with all the U.S. attorneys, in my previous time in government, I know that that there is a level of ability to take action on certain kinds of things that I think is a little bit easier, certainly for a permanent U.S. attorney. But I also want to be very clear that I think the acting U.S. attorneys that are out there are doing a terrific job, and they're working really well with our field offices.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the importance of reinforcing the job that those acting U.S. attorneys are doing. But I would just argue that at this time, when we're facing a lot of challenges with respect to increased criminal activity, that having the top decision maker in those offices is really critical. And we need to urge the administration to move those people if they haven't been nominated, and members of the Senate to approve them, so that we can get people in place, so that we've got everybody on the ground that we need in order to address the challenges that we're facing when it comes to crime.
May I make this bipartisan, please?
Please do.
I would join the chairman in making the request to the administration, and I suppose the Senate, should they be nominated, to act expeditiously to get us our U.S. attorneys, which are absent in many places, including my home state.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Director Ray. If there are no further questions this afternoon, senators may submit additional questions for the official hearing record. We request the FBI's responses in 30 days, and this subcommittee stands in recess, subject to the call of the chair. Thank you.
All right, that's it. So it looks like that might be it for today, man. As far as briefings and stuff like that. Let me see.
Consumption goes through the WIC program, which provides free internet.
They still alive right here. They talk to nutrition experts. They still testifying in front of the House hearing, examining the infant formula shortage, you guys. That's still going on. The market is about to close here in 15 minutes. We do got a lot of earnings out. We're going to stick around here for the after hours for a little bit. And it's a lot going on going into tomorrow, you guys. You see the SPY did just try to touch 400, but the Bears rejected it. But all of this action really just came from, it looks like the statement, you guys, All of this action looks like it just came from the minutes, the Fed minutes, not the statement. The FOMC minutes, you guys. The FOMC statement and minutes, there's both FOMCs, all from the Federal Reserve Chairman, but yeah, the minutes is different from the statement. What just came out was the minutes, you guys. So yeah, the FOMC minutes though, the action did get real volatile, like I had said here earlier, and you know, it's looking like it's gonna close high. But tomorrow gonna be really important to see what's gonna happen at the opening. You know, they can either what's gonna end up happening. I'm thinking is they're gonna sell off right back to where all this even started. You guys, that's 396, 392 area. And if it don't hold that tomorrow, you will see this market deep red here tomorrow, and that'll just be the digestion phase of the FOMC minutes. You'll get your answer there, your direction at that point. But you know, also what can happen is say the jobless claim data tomorrow that's coming out here in the pre-market can be very positive, and if that's the case, let's see, make sure that is what it is. So yeah, we got the Q1 GDP second reading that do come out tomorrow, and the jobless claims data come out tomorrow, and pending home sales come out tomorrow. So all that information is coming out, and then we got the FOMC member daily at 1 p.m. All of that is happening tomorrow, you guys. So just keep that in mind. It can really just, you know, it's starting to come down. Market's starting to sell off here right now. 15 minutes here. We do got earnings after the bell, but yeah, like I said, the market's gonna be reacting to this data that's coming out next. FOMC minutes is behind us now. We got that reaction. It looked bullish, sound bullish. Can it hold? That's the question now. You get your answer tomorrow on that. Then we're going into the Q1 GDP second reading, you guys. That's going to be the next answer right there. And the next question is, what's that's going to do to the market? How's us investors going to take it? Excuse me. And then jobless claims is important here too tomorrow in the morning. You know, that's always important. So I got a lot of data to be dependent on tomorrow morning. And Friday is another important day too. Core PCE price index. That's inflation data right there. And then inflation data tomorrow is second reading GDP. So yeah, man, all this is important, man. All this is definitely important. I hope it's correlating to you, and I hope it is making sense. Hoping you learning something. Hoping you earning something. You know. But at the end of the day, you know, earnings do come out after hours there. Earnings ain't always it. You know, the one you thought might not be it, but just because that one ain't it, that don't mean these other companies ain't gonna be it. So keep that in mind. Earnings go on just like business goes on. You feel me? But we do got NVIDIA, Snowflake after hours. That's going to be very important. These are two big moves. And then in the morning, we got China on the board. Alibaba, they got a report in. Baidu got a report in. We got our retail report in Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Macy's, all of that in the morning. Jack in the Box, Burlington Coat Factory, all of that in the morning. So we got a lot of earnings in the mix with a lot of data here. You see what I'm saying? We're about to get a market move here for sure. The market's been a little antsy here. Just really credit spread and the same numbers, but we're about to definitely shift here after all of these earnings and this data come out here shortly, you guys. So we're gonna see what happens between really close after hours and all the way to tomorrow morning. It's gonna be very important, and going into tomorrow close is gonna be very important too, man. So keep that in mind right now. Market is about to close here though. Let's tune back into this infant formula shortage hearing, and we will stick around for the after hours action, watching the video and Snowflake, you guys.
Has expired, and at this time, I would like to yield to the gentle lady from New York, Miss Ming. Miss Ming, you are now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is for Mr. Ronholm. Consumer Reports published an article in March where your organization describes FOIA requests for FDA inspection reports in 2019, 2021, and 2022. These reports show that FDA had documented serious and ongoing safety concerns at Abbott's plant just as the outbreak emerged in March. These reports also reveal that Abbott received 17 consumer complaints between 2019 to 2021, including 15 complaints of infants having tested positive for another pathogen, Salmonella, and one complaint related to Chronobacter. I wanted to find out, is relatively speaking, is the number of complaints about this product, for example, lower or higher compared to another product? And how many complaints, let's say, would raise the level to cause alarm, or how can we ensure that the public is aware of these consumer complaints much earlier on in the process to allow consumers to make the most informed choices? FDA obviously reacted too slowly, and the company obviously did not reveal to the public the number of complaints that they had received.
Yeah, Ms. Bing, I don't have a specific frame of reference of what threshold for complaints, would trigger concern. I would say that I think overall 17 is a notable number, and I think it would certainly gain some attention at a federal agency, just based on my experience at USDA. And when you combine that with the inspection reports that FDA had of the Sturgis facility in the years that you mentioned, combine that with the consumer complaints, clearly there were some red flags there that needed to be addressed. And so the concern from the consumer standpoint is when all these complaints are being filed, you have these inspection reports that encounter the salmonella test samples of Chronobacter, et cetera. That's cause for concern. That should be a sign to FDA that there's a problem at this particular facility. They need to set up shop there to figure out what the problem is.
So, no, thank you. That's very helpful. And I know we've talked a lot about needed reform at the FDA, but on top of that, do you think there are things that we can require, let's say, of private companies when complaints are being made? I know there's not necessarily a framework of a minimum threshold or trigger level, but are there things that companies should be doing when they're receiving complaint over complaint of relatively serious illnesses resulting from their products?
Yeah, I think certainly companies, when they get these complaints, they should share them immediately with the FDA. I think what they also should be doing is sharing their test results, whenever the microbial test results that they take at their particular facilities. So when they take those samples, and if there's an issue, they need to share them with the FDA so that there can be some sort of record. So in the event that there is a problem, they have that ability to go back, see that this facility experienced the problem in the past and need to fix it. So I think as much information sharing as there can be between the company and the FDA certainly would be beneficial. Would it, prevent the situation altogether? I think that would remain to be seen, but it certainly helps everyone get educated on precisely what the issues are at a particular facility. Absolutely.
Right. So if the FDA doesn't react appropriately, let's say there were 100 complaints to a business like Abbott, if the FDA hadn't done its due diligence and a company like Abbott doesn't reveal anything to the public, if there are 100, 200 complaints, that means they would keep selling this product and no one in the public would even know that complaints were being made, right?
That's right. And I think it also speaks to the question of the fragmented leadership at FDA. You had this major whistleblower report come in and, they didn't bother to share it with everybody within the agency, let alone react to it. So, that's certainly an issue as well.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ming. I believe we have completed the round of questions. I understand that there are no more questions except for the chair lady, Mr. Laura, who I believe has one additional question. So I will at this time yield to Chairwoman DeLaura for your final question.
Well,
I'll yield to Ms. Laura.
Thank you. Very, very quick. First of all, I just say to my colleague, Congresswoman Meng, what the FDA needs to do is to understand that they are a regulatory agency and what that entails. We do not produce infant formula at the federal level. That's not our job. Our job is through the FDA is to be able to make sure that those who do produce it are held to a standard and to make sure that standard is adhered to. And if it isn't adhered to, that they need to they need to be accountable for that. The product should come off the market until we have a solution to it. Very, very quickly, because I just wanted to get the answer from you, Dr. Carney. If you could unmute. Because of the inability to track the cases, as you have mentioned, we know 2 infants died, 4 others were hospitalized. Do you think that there is underreporting because we do not have a tracking system, so there could be more cases out there?
Thank you, Chair Delario. And I'm not a doctor, so I appreciate that honor, but I'm a dietitian. I definitely agree with you that there is a problem if we cannot track that. We need to, and I know that we were just talking about informing the parents and out there in the public, but there are so many sick children already in hospitals. If we give them contaminated formula on top of their current illness, it would be devastating. So we've got to have some tracking and reporting on a consistent basis.
Right, right. So many of the women that I spoke to yesterday at the round table had a child. They took them to the emergency room, and then they came out of the emergency room, but then they looked at the product that they had, and it was a recalled product. So there's every likelihood that it could be connected. So thank you very much, and thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for doing this hearing today. It really is a critical issue. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Laura. And let me say thank you again to our witnesses, Ms. Chamberlain, Mr. Gay, Ms. Carney, and Mr. Runholm. We very much appreciate this discussion. Your testimony was powerful and informative. As we continue to look for answers and solutions to this crisis, it's important that you all have a voice. You are on the ground and you experience the consequences of something like this firsthand. Thank you also for the hard work that you do, from advocating for important policies to supporting your local communities. Dr. Harris, do you have any closing remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to say thank you to the witnesses today. Ms. Chamberlain, thank you very much for testifying. I know how incredibly difficult it must be for you and people who you know who have children with PKU to have this happen. And rest assured that we will do our best to make sure that it doesn't happen again, because we know that for some children, especially the infant form is very, very essential. And again, thanks to all the witnesses today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you, Dr. Harris, and thanks to all of the members who were in attendance. And let me say a thank you to our staff who worked so hard to put this hearing together quickly. So thank you so much. And with that, this subcommittee is adjourned.
All right, there you have it. It's adjourned. That's over with. Looks like the market's about to close in 3 minutes. We got earnings out here on the board.
In late September, the Secretary updated that guidance to ensure I focuses its resources on the apprehension and removal of non-citizens who are a threat to our national security and public safety and on our border security. I was also pleased to see ICE's announcement this spring that it was directing its attorneys who represent ICE and immigration court proceedings to exercise discretion in accordance with these priorities. But more remains to be done. I continue to be concerned about the state of ICE detention facilities and how individuals are treated while in ICE custody. One issue I'm particularly alarmed by is that those in ICE custody continue to have difficulty obtaining access to legal counsel and communicating with their counsel when they do have it. For example, a 10-15 minute monitored phone call is not nearly sufficient given the sensitivity and complexity of the legal issues and necessary evidence one needs to present their case. I look forward to discussing these continuing issues. Lastly, I would like to recognize the important work and accomplishments of the Homeland Security Investigations workforce, including their work in disrupting transnational criminal organizations, and I look forward to hearing more about that work this afternoon. I will now turn to the distinguished gentleman from Tennessee, Ranking Member Fleischman, for his opening remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for holding this hearing, and welcome, Acting Director Johnson. I thank you, sir, for your testimony today as we discuss the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Fiscal 2023 budget request. Before I begin, I'd like to offer my sincere thanks for your 3 decades of service, which go all the way back to the Legacy Immigration and Naturalization Service. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is responsible for the enforcement of our nation's immigration,
The market is closed, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for the briefings. Oh man, here we go. So we got earnings on the board now. It's time. The video snowflake reports. We're gonna pull it up here. And hopefully you guys took a swing opportunity, took that chance. If not, it's cool. Maybe it's like I said, it's best to wait just till tomorrow, you guys. There's nothing wrong with that either. Nothing wrong with that either, you guys. So yeah, we're gonna see. We're about to see what's gonna happen here. A lot of stuff to be anticipating here. So we're gonna see what's going on, man, with this market right now. After hours, we got a video on the board here. They're reporting their earnings, you guys. Expecting a big move here. I think it was expecting about 15%, 20%. We're going to see. Here. 15. It might have been 15, 16%, somewhere like that. It's a big move on the video for sure, though. We do got the Amazon. They released their the 20-to-1 stock split. It's confirmed. So you a lot of buying over there. Today was the start of it. It went up 2.5%. It might come back down here about 2.5%, or it's just gonna continue to go up 2.5%. You'll see that. But yeah, we got a video on the board here after hours, you guys. This is a hit or miss here. This is a hit or miss. Hit or miss here. No action yet. No action yet here. The release is not out yet. Give it a few moments. I would give it a few moments, you guys. Get that time marinate. But a lot of data that came out today, man, it seemed really good. But like I said, it must hold at these levels. We ain't seen the market really go up here in a while. So, it wouldn't surprise if it is about to come off the ground, and that's what they're trying to warn us. But at the same time, we've been seeing it for 7 to 8 weeks, 9 weeks, just go up, and then it'll top out, and then it'll come right back down lower than it was before. So we're about to find out the truth here on some things. Keep in mind, earnings is different from, the overall market. It won't have an effect what the market is going to do. Put it this way, like, say, for instance, whatever the earnings report is about to do for Snowflake and NVIDIA, they'll be, reacting differently towards the overall market tomorrow, whatever it may happen. It's about to be a big move, though, apparently. And we're just sitting here anticipating it. We're going to watch it here after hours. This is the Stock Market Live with LCAOD after hours. And if you're just now tuning in, we got a video earnings on the board. We're waiting for them to present it here. Release the numbers, what you got, bag or nah. Bag or nah. A lot of people want the video like 150. A lot of people saying 190. Who knows? Who knows? It's either one or the other though. They might not do anything. It might pull a Zoom on us here. Might pull a Zoom on us here. You never know in this condition with the market here. You know, it is earnings. They don't. That's the key to it. It must hold. You know the data towards it, but it must hold, and that's what people don't know, and that's why some people try to say this is a gamble. Well, you know, it's about really getting the right direction and knowing the move, how much they can move, and trying to be correct as possible with the earnings. Not really a gamble if you got the information. Now, if you just really don't have the information to it and you're just guessing a lot of the numbers, yeah, that is a gamble. But you know, if you know the information, you're looking into it. It's about being accurate, you guys, having the right direction in the number. So that's really what earnings is. You know. You don't get them all right, you know, and sometimes, like I said, they don't hold. You can be right and they don't hold till the next morning. So that's the key about any earnings report anyway. But yeah, we're gonna see here Snowflake. We waiting on Snowflake, and then we waiting on that video. I would give it about 15 minutes. The move is coming. Relax, you guys. It's either they got the bag or not. It's either one or the other. It's either one or the other. I got some clients that ain't taking a huge risk right now. Huge risk, my ding. Ollie, I'm going Ollie. I'm going Ollie. You feel me? So that's what's happening right now. We waiting. Stocks rise after Fed signals further rate hikes. Dow jumps nearly 200 points. We did close in the green officially. The VIX did sell off 3% though. So that is what it closed at. Tomorrow could be red. If it's red, this is gonna get wiped out. So keep that in mind. If the VIX is green tomorrow, these indices are red. All of those gains will be wiped. Now, if we see more green tomorrow, continuation up. Continuation up. So we about to find out. Nvidia's on the board here. Earnings on the board here. No movement. We zoomed all the way in. We want to see every inch of the candle when we do the earnings over here. Whoa! Snowflake! Snowflake! Earnings is out, you guys. They're clear. They got 10 seconds to get up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Snowflake is clapped, you guys. That's it. That's it for them. Snowflake is clapped. Snowflake is clapped. That earnings report looks like it's out. It's doing a lot of moving. It must stick. You know that rule. It must stick. You know that rule. It must stick. Snowflake is clapped. Oh, man. They're down. Snowflake is clapped. They're down 14%. They got a 20% implied move. That's a 20% correction. If they go down some more, it's over with. They need to try to bounce here. They need to try to bounce here. If the snowflakes don't bounce, push will be up tremendously over. Whoa. Okay, looks like we got some action here in the video. Looks like we got some action here in the video. I see it down about 2%. Nothing too major. Just like we're getting started. Looks like we're getting started. Looks like we're getting started, though. Looks like we're getting started on something, though. We do see the action over there in the video down by $3 now. Looks like we're getting started. Snowflake is choppy. They're bouncing. Snowflake is choppy bouncing on me. They're choppy bouncing. Snowflake is choppy bouncing. It's ugly right now, though. I don't know if they can hit. Whoa, 118 looks like it's the top now. What happened to when they was just at 133? Oh, they're clapped, you guys. They are clapped here. They are clapped. The video looks like it's not trying to do too much. The earnings is not out yet. I don't see it. But I'm not seeing a lot in the video. Looks like they might be pulling the zoom. Oh, but man, Snowflake, you guys. Wow, that was the one. Oh, man, that was the one. Oh, man, that was the one. Snowflake down 12% right now. Looks like that may stick, you guys. It's going to have to stick to about all the way to tomorrow. Obviously, you know, opening bell tomorrow. So we'll see. But, yeah, that did come down there, $15. Now we're just waiting on the videos report here. Then we're gonna wrap it up here at LCALD. Waiting on the videos report right now. They ain't really did nothing too much yet. The video ain't did nothing yet. The video ain't did nothing yet. Let's see. See what they gonna do. See what they gonna do. Let's see what they gonna do, y'all. The video stalling us. The video stalling us. I'll give it about 5 minutes. They'll give you a move. Snowflake got to it. And they staying down there at 118. Snowflake got to it. They down about $14, down 10%. It's starting to bounce back up though. 119, it is starting to bounce back up. So it looks like it depends on where you brought it on that put side. You might just be getting your money back. No gains over there at Snowflake. That's what it looks like now. The video earnings is starting to come out. I think still no real move here. This is still in the channel of what it's been doing. No real move here. Nothing too different from the video yet. Just be patient, you guys. They're coming out with the report as we speak right now. Just relax. Just relax it, you guys. I'm seeing. They're only down about 2%. That ain't really no move. Like I said, you want at least what Wall Street is expecting. Wall Street is expecting. I'm thinking about Wall Street is expecting about 15%. So just give it some time there. Give it some time. We still gonna stick around. Yo. Oh, for real? I can hit her up and ask her, but she had said 6:30. Okay, I'm about to ask her right now. I'm about to ask. All right. So yeah, they still playing here in the video. It looks like a chop fest. We ain't getting no move here in the video. They stalling. It looks like they stalling so far. So far, nothing. Let's see what Snowflake doing now. No, yeah, Snowflake still clapped. So like I said, depending on the number you got, you're more than likely probably gonna get a little bit of profit there, and if you're in money back guaranteed though for sure. The video no move yet. Still, you guys just have some patience. I don't see the report out yet. I don't even see it out yet. I think they're gonna release it in like 4 minutes. Give it about 4 more minutes. Man. So it looks like we got a bit of a glitch or something going on after hours here. You guys see that? The SPY look like it sold off to 387.4 cents, but just bounced back up here to 397. That's weird. It looks like Amazon went all the way down to 2,047, and they're back up here at 2,133. It looks like the triple Qs had a glitch too moment, and they went all the way down to $282. And now they're all the way back up at 290. So we did have a glitch moment, you guys. Some of y'all hitting me and thinking that's real. That's not real, because if it was, it would have stayed down there. But I don't know if that's gonna retrace that though. That is a bit of a crazy glitch there. We ain't seen one like that in a while. It actually was a glitch like this yesterday. It went up though. It was a glitch just like this yesterday. It went up. Amazon was like at 22. It was like at 22.50, man, after hours, but it was a glitch and it came back to the normal level it was. And then today it really did go up. So this glitch did go down, but it did come back to where it was at. Might be a sign that, it might be trying to touch that low or something soon. I don't know what that glitch was about, you guys, but I know it ain't real, so just wait. We're still waiting on the video's earnings. But that definitely was a glitch in the system right there. You should be fine waking up in the morning if it's not that low. But that was a glitch. I don't think that candle held there. Sometimes the market can do that, man. With a lot of buying and selling at one time, it just needs to glitch out sometimes. But as you can see, the numbers, what it's saying after hours, that's what it is. So you see the spot after 397.23, only down about 5%. That's the real. That's real. Not that 387 number. That's a glitch. So after for Amazon, you got $2,132. That's what that is. It's not $2,047. So just that's a glitch, but that's a crazy ass glitch though. It is a crazy ass glitch right there. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it is a glitch. It's not real. That's suspicious. That's a part of the suspicious. The word of the day. That's crazy. The word of the day. It may seem like that it is, real there, but it's really, suspicious. It's not, or it's saying vice versa. It might seem like it's fake, but it's real. So we're gonna really find out tomorrow, though. We're really still waiting on the video's earnings, though. But that definitely was a glitch, yo. That definitely was a glitch. So don't take that serious as of now. I'm gonna tell you that now. Now waking up tomorrow could be totally different. That might be real. I have no idea. But what we're going to do is say that that's a glitch for now, because yesterday, like I said, it did have a glitch to the upside after hours yesterday, and then the market did go up today. So a glitch to the downside may have the market down tomorrow. I do not know, but we'll see. This is the second glitch back to back like this in between days. So that's kind of crazy right there. But the market did close bullish though, you guys. We're waiting on the Nvidia's earnings right now. Snowflake got clapped, y'all. Snowflake got clapped. It was ugly, man. It still is ugly. Oh yeah, they're still going down. Snowflake is retesting low. So again, you got puts here at Snowflake. You pretty much won right now. Long as it stayed in that direction, you're gonna get paid at Snowflake tomorrow. Now, keep in mind, it's a lot of time. You got till tomorrow, basically all the way till 9:30 a.m. It need to stay in just like this. So keep that in mind. It's a lot going on. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But we're just waiting on the video right now. So far, they still haven't reported. We're still not getting the report here in the video. But when we do, we don't know. Let's see here. So I think that we had the video. The video is this is pretty intense, you guys. They're about to release their earnings report in 3 minutes, 4:20 p.m. And yeah, we're gonna get a direction on the video, you guys. They're expected to move about. It looks Wall Street is expecting at least about 11%. So that's a good, probably $10 or so, maybe $10 to $12, maybe. Now, if they give you anything more than that, ouch. Bears will be happy, Bulls will be hurt. This is what it is right now. But this right here is not the report yet, you guys. So just stay cautious right here. Stay tight, stay relaxed, stay calm. The report is on the way out here shortly in 3 minutes, and you'll see the move. See, Snowflake gave you the move. So just wait, you guys. That is a crazy glitch, though. That is crazy. Okay, so we still waiting. We still waiting here. Patience is a virtue, you guys. But let's play some tunes in the meantime.
One red. They say the wrong time might be the right time. You say the wrong thing, nigga, that's your lifeline. I keep it one rack every single fucking time. I just want some money, even though I got it now. They say the wrong time might be the right time. You say the wrong thing, nigga, that's your lifeline. I keep it one rack every single fucking time. I just want some money, even though I got it now. I keep it real, ain't no faking this shit. All my life I've been chasing a bitch. Now I'm chasing my chip. They mad at me, sad at me, but I'm thugging, little bitch. Ain't no loving around this joke. I'm really thugging this shit. I keep my mind on my money and my money in my pocket. I got a gun, I'm ready to cock it, ready to pop it at any knock. If they knocking on my bad side, I got a bad right, your bitch. She let me bust on her inside. She going crazy. Wanna have my baby, I gotta let it. She'll go crazy if she find out. I'm really thugging, ain't no time now. Some quarterback is sliding out, chasing money riding out.
Here come the move from the video, you guys. Report is out. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Uh-oh. So let's see if that sticks right here. The report is coming out.
I keep it one rack every single fucking time. I just want some money, even though I got it now. They say the wrong time might be the right time. You say the wrong thing, nigga, that's your lifeline. I keep it one rack every single fucking time. I just want some money, even though I got it. I need more money, I need more paper. I be chasing this shit. I need more haters, they be hating this shit. You gotta be patient, I'm erasing these niggas. I'm trying to see more paper. I'm trying to balance, I gotta relocate us. I'm trying to find balance, fuck whatever he gotta say. So many hundreds on the way, too many honeys. I got the packs, I got the lean, I got what you want, I got what you need. Too many 20s, it's hard to breathe. Yeah, she sucked me up, she on her knee. She begging to stay, don't know when to leave. I told that bitch, please, leave quick, bitch, get your shit. Time to flee, money calling. I said that money calling me. Bitch, leave, bitch, flee, bitch, quick, yeah, bitch, please. They say the wrong time might be the right time. You say the wrong thing, nigga, that's your lifeline. I keep it one rack every single fucking time. I just want some money, even though I got it now. They say the wrong time might be the right time. You say the wrong thing, nigga, that's your lifeline. I keep it one rack every single fucking time. I just want some money, even though I got it now. Even though I got it now. One rack, go Spizzy. They say the wrong time might be the right time. Even though I got it now.
Yo. Yeah, she busy. She got her daughter and she in the course class. We already had scheduled for 6:30 though. That's what she was expecting. Oh, this him right here, this white chunk. Oh, okay, yeah. Cause all right, that's cool. Well, yeah. She said 6:30. I'm just telling her it looked like hold on. She might be trying to daggone stop her course. She just said, "You sure I can come now? I don't want anyone waiting. I just got to take a little minute because I got to get my baby ready in 35 minutes. I would have pushed my course back if I knew that." She basically just said she stayed 35 minutes away. And she got to get her daughter or her son or ready or whatever. And she says she can come now though, but it'll be like 35 minutes, so that'll still be like around like 5:30. Basically, she's saying if that's straight. Oh, you want to just tell her to wait? Yeah, but yeah. What I'm saying, it sounds like you're still gonna have to wait anyway. Yeah, basically. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Well then. Okay. Yeah. Cause yeah, he might be looking for it from me, and then you know how he is. Well, I don't want him to start, and then he feel me. I'm gonna go outside and let him know it's on the way. All right. I'm gonna tell her right now that just to wait to 6:30, and I apologize. I didn't know she was doing something right now. I didn't know she was busy. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let her know then. All right. So it looks like the report is out when the video, you guys, they're selling off here. They're almost at the implied move. Almost there. I think it was about 12%, 15%. They're almost there, you guys. The earnings report is out. It looks bad here. They got clapped, and Snow got clapped. So that's two companies that just went down here. That's gonna have a little stinger effect on the market tomorrow for sure. Yeah, but other than that, man, yeah, man, that's gonna have a stinger effect there on the market tomorrow, you guys. It really is. It really, really, really is. But really just stay calm and just stay cautious, you guys. Anything can happen from this point on. But yeah. Oh man. We're gonna wrap it up from here though. It looks like the reports are out. And hopefully these things, just don't get too ugly from this point on. If it is, then we do know that it will sell off tomorrow and the market will be completely bearish. These are some big companies here reporting their earnings and they don't have it. Ouch. It stings. It stings. Amazon's down 27 after hours. Ouch. Ouch. So they're gonna need to recover that immediately by tomorrow, or yeah, it's gonna start to get ugly. Maybe that glitch wasn't a glitch after all, possibly here. If the Nvidia continues to sell like this, you guys. So we'll see here. We'll see here. But other than that, you guys enjoy your evening here. This is the Stock Market Live with LCAOD. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Just try to be here early on time tomorrow. Keep in mind, Friday will be either another day like today, 3-hour day, or we're going to really just not even show up at all. We got something we got to handle. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Hope you learned something. Hope you earned something. We'll see y'all tomorrow. And don't forget to let cash accumulate over days.